Chapter 95. P.S. Thanks to Percival for the reward of 588 Chidian coins, becoming an apprentice. Thanks to Liang Xianpeng for the reward of 100 Chidian coins, becoming an apprentice. The elder was the first to be shocked by this slash. The deacon was shocked by this slash. Zhang Wudi and the other disciples at the ninth heaven of Martial Path were shocked one after another, revealing a look of disbelief. The disciples at the eighth heaven of Martial Path were all shocked and dumbfounded. All the outer disciples were stunned on the spot by this slash. They were all shocked by this stunning slash, which made them feel invincible. This slash was sharp and ferocious, like a tiger released from its cage, wanting to tear everything in front of it to shreds. No one expected that Lin Fei would erupt with such a powerful attack. Strong, too strong. Chen Xiaosheng, who was defeated by Lin Fei before, was originally full of anger. After seeing this move, his mouth directly turned into an O shape, as if at this moment a duck egg could be stuffed inside. How can he be so powerful? If Lin Fei used this move, then I wouldn't be able to block it at all? Is this Lin Fei's real strength? A cool breeze blew, and Qin Shaoxing found that his back was full of cold sweat. All of it was caused by fear. Such a terrifying guy, and he still wanted to find a chance to take revenge on Lin Fei. Qin Shaoxing wanted to slap himself a few times to wake up his mind. He simply did not want to live anymore. Facing this slash, Qin Shaoxing no longer had any temper, and as for revenge, it disappeared without a trace. What a joke! Qin Shaoxing did not dare to make things difficult for Lin Fei. Therefore, Lin Fei was immediately listed as a dangerous person. Qin Shaoxing himself could not block this move, and he could not even break it. He could only brace himself to break it. Situations similar to Qin Shaoxing's kept appearing among the outer disciples. They were all shocked by Lin Fei's stunning slash. This slash was not the divine force sect saber art, but the saber art of the outside world. Lin Fei's stunning slash was to defeat Zhang Wanshan in a strong way. Strength. What is strength? Lin Fei could imagine the current situation. However, the only thing in his heart right now was to defeat Zhang Wanshan and trample him beneath his feet. He also wanted to leave an unforgettable memory for Zhang Wanshan. Everything was going to happen soon, and he was about to succeed. Lin Fei's bones were just that vicious. As long as there were no casualties in the arena, everything would be fine. After all, accidents were inevitable. From the moment Zhang Wanshan stepped onto the stage, Lin Fei could see the savage aura in his opponent's eyes. He knew better than anyone that if he were to show mercy, Zhang Wanshan would not necessarily show mercy. Therefore, Lin Fei immediately launched a powerful attack, not giving Zhang Wanshan a chance to attack. Dang, dang, dang. Zhang Wanshan's expression was no longer as calm as before. Shock flashed across his face, and even though he hit it well, it still revealed the shock in his heart. Unsheathing his sword, Zhang Wanshan soared into the air, and the saber and sword clashed. Zhang Wanshan's reaction was extraordinarily fast, but even so, he was still forced back 3 steps, leaving a deep groove in the ground of the stage behind him. 3 steps. 3 forceful steps. 3 steps in front of everyone. How could Lin Fei give Zhang Wanshan a chance to catch his breath when he forcefully used the single cut in 2? He didn't even give his opponent a chance to think or even counterattack. The second saber slashed down again, and it was still the single cut in 2. The second time he used the single cut in 2, 2 rays of white light strangely appeared, and the saber style changed. In the midst of the ferocity, it was accompanied by a mountain-like pressure that pressed down from above. Madness. The outer sect disciples went crazy. Anyone could understand the terror of this saber. It must have consumed a lot of profound qi to force Zhang Wanshan back. Who would have expected that Lin Fei would use this fierce saber again? He forced Zhang Wanshan back with a single saber. What about the second saber? No one knew, and no one could predict. They were all attracted by Lin Fei's saber. Apart from that, they admired him even more. This was Lin Fei's true strength. Saber technique, single cut in two. Lin Fei had already comprehended it to an extremely profound level. Once he made a move, his killing intent would be overwhelming, as if he could cut through everything in the world. He could also control his profound qi within a certain range. Zhang Wanshan's long sword produced countless sword flowers, and the horrifying expression on his face froze before it could fade away. This was because the second saber had brought about another heaven-defying change. Shock, unwillingness, and surprise gathered on Zhang Wanshan's face. He was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. How could Lin Fei be so powerful? He was so powerful that even Zhang Wanshan couldn't feel it. Clang, 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 clang. The two figures swayed one after another, and a series of clashing sounds came from the arena. The crowd saw Zhang Wanshan's battered figure escaping from the battle. There was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth, and he was no longer calm. He was injured. He was injured. Zhang Wanshan was injured by Lin Fei. The third saber, single cut in two, tornado. Lin Fei's entire body spun as he turned into a tornado. His saber light was like a white shadow. At this moment, in the eyes of the spectators, it seemed as if Lin Fei had slashed out 10 times, 50 times, or even 100 times. In fact, a huge tornado had appeared on the entire stage, and the saber light was like a shadow. On the spectator stand, the elders could no longer sit still. Elder Hu Fei's eyes were wide open. His brows were sometimes furrowed and sometimes relaxed as if he was deep in thought. No, this isn't right. This isn't the Wind Realm. The Wind Realm shouldn't be like this. I get it now. Ha ha ha, what a good lad. He actually used his own movement technique to reach the limits of his speed and evolved into something similar to the Wind Realm. What a genius. He's truly a genius. The other elders were also able to see what was going on, and they looked at Lin Fei as if he was a monster. They almost thought that Lin Fei, an outer disciple, had comprehended the Wind Realm. If that was really the case, they didn't know how to describe it. Wind Realm. Looking at the entire divine martial sect, there were only a few disciples who comprehended the Wind Realm. At most, they could comprehend a part of it, but it was extremely beneficial. If anyone comprehended the Wind Realm, they could torture others to death with just their speed. Obviously, they didn't recognize it until Elder Hu Fei reminded them. Only then did they realize that Lin Fei hadn't comprehended the Wind Realm, but he was able to take a shortcut and execute a tornado. This was the most unbelievable part. If they didn't see it in front of them, they would have thought that it was fake. On the arena, the saber light was like a shadow. The huge tornado covered the sky recklessly and occupied the entire arena. No one could find Lin Fei's position. It was as if he had become a part of the tornado. It was flawless and flawless. Dang, dang, dang. Swish, swish, swish. The saber light and the astral chi clashed. A dangerous aura pervaded the entire arena. Withdraw! With a loud rumbling sound, the entire tornado rolled downwards. Zhang Wanshan was already forced to the edge and was truly in a state of shock. A coarse, big hand stretched out from the sky like the wind and moved along the saber light. Dang! Zhang Wanshan immediately felt his hand going numb when the long sword left his hand. This was just the beginning. Chapter 96. 2 white teeth fell to the ground with a puddle of blood. It was a dazzling sight. Zhang Wanshan, who was at the 8th level of the martial path, was actually slapped in the face by Lin Fei's disciple. Lin Fei was the best proof of what true strength was. Everyone had a look of disbelief on their faces. Shock, jealousy, envy, anger, indignation, and all sorts of other emotions filled their hearts. Some of the disciples even widened their eyes in shock. Some of them were so impulsive that their veins were bulging on their hands. They could not believe that their senior brother, whom they revered, would be unable to withstand 3 slashes and lose 2 of his teeth. Unbelievable! 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 The powerful senior brother Zhang Wanshan in their eyes couldn't even block 3 slashes and lost his teeth. It was like the collapse of a skyscraper. Zhang Wanshan's teeth were knocked out in front of everyone. Elder Li Ding was the first to be shocked. Although Elder Li Ding was expressionless, the slight movement of his fingers revealed his current mood. The cold aura around him made people afraid to approach him. He was angry. Elder Li Ding was angry. Li Ding knew Zhang Wanshan's strength very well. He was immediately suppressed and slapped in the face, which was no different from a slap to his own face. Those elders who were originally dissatisfied were secretly laughing. Even their gazes were filled with smiles. Damn brat! Li Ding cursed in his heart. Ever since that year, Li Ding had hated all the disciples who cultivated the 9 revolutions' mysterious art. He felt that they were unforgivable and had to be erased, causing him to have an extremely dark mentality. My teeth! Zhang Wanshan covered his mouth. His front teeth were knocked out, and his mouth was leaking air. He spat out the words with difficulty. His face was filled with indescribable shock. And this was just the beginning. Since Lin Fei wanted to forcefully defeat Zhang Wanshan, he wanted to trample on Zhang Wanshan in front of everyone in the divine martial plaza. 8 Desolation Fist. Lin Fei, who had amazing saber skills, switched to the sharp, baleful black saber and smashed down with his fist. This fist was steady and ferocious, just like the previous saber skill. Just like the name of the fist skill, it could break through everything. Lin Fei's shadow split into 3. Find. Before Zhang Wanshan could finish a sentence, everyone saw Lin Fei throw out a mysterious punch. It was a domineering punch that landed squarely on Zhang Wanshan's chest. Pooh! The protective stellar energy around his body seemed to have lost its effect, allowing Lin Fei's fist to pass through him. Zhang Wanshan choked back the last word he wanted to say. He coughed up a mouthful of blood and staggered back 7 or 8 steps. Zhang Wanshan, feel good. The best part is yet to come. Lin Fei's cold voice was like the judgment of a fiend god, landing heavily on Zhang Wanshan's heart. With great difficulty, Zhang Wanshan stabilized his body. Before he could recover from the intense pain, his vision blurred. His head swayed, and the white teeth flew out again. Pa! Lin Fei's movement technique was already astonishing, and when he used the 8 Desolation 6 Harmonies fist, how could Zhang Wanshan block it? Don't forget that Lin Fei's divine strength was astonishing. Pa! Pa! In the arena, Lin Fei grabbed Zhang Wanshan's collar and whipped him twice. Teeth again. Zhang Wanshan almost vomited blood. He couldn't accept that he couldn't take Lin Fei's move, and he couldn't even find a chance to fight back. His internal organs were tumbling, and his Xian Qi was even more chaotic. He couldn't control it, and his stellar energy couldn't gather together to form the best protective barrier. 8 Desolation return. Lin Fei tossed Zhang Wanshan into the air. Someone was even faster than her, descending from the sky and appearing in the air above Zhang Wanshan, stomping down. Bang, bang, bang. Pa, 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 pa. In the arena, Zhang Wanshan was like a doll, thrown up and down. He was extremely miserable. A dignified expert at the 8th heaven of the martial Tao couldn't use his martial arts, and he couldn't find a chance to resist. Lin Fei was like a mighty tiger, beating Zhang Wanshan to pieces. Every time Lin Fei slapped Zhang Wanshan's face, it felt like he was slapping a high-ranking disciple. Who would have thought that Lin Fei had hidden his strength so deeply? He went all out from the very start, actually suppressing Zhang Wanshan. Most importantly, Zhang Wanshan made one mistake after another. Bang! Zhang Wanshan was punched in the chest again, and his whole body fell on the arena. He was already on the verge of death. His face was swollen like a pig's head, and his eyes couldn't open. He was in a state where he couldn't breathe. Almost all of his teeth were hit by Lin Fei. Zhang Wanshan couldn't speak very smoothly. After spitting out a word, he no longer had any strength. His eyes mixed with anger and resentment fell on Lin Fei. You still dare to look at me like that. It seems that you have a lot of resentment. Lin Fei stomped down, and Zhang Wanshan immediately vomited blood. He didn't expect Lin Fei to be so thick-skinned. He was injured, but he still dared to attack him. Until now, he still didn't understand. He didn't even use his best skill. How could he defeat him? Endless resentment on the square. Lin Fei's actions made everyone dumbfounded. To beat a disciple at the eighth heaven of the martial Dao like a sandbag, to the point that the other party lost the ability to fight back. How strong was this? Was this a disciple at the eighth heaven of the martial Dao? They didn't dare to believe it. Hoo-hoo! Lin Fei let out a long sigh. What followed was a sense of satisfaction. It was an extraordinary sense of satisfaction. Zhang Wanshan on the stage was carried down. Lin Fei suddenly wanted to laugh. You also have this day, you deserve it. At this moment, Lin Fei felt refreshed, more comfortable than a massage. His whole body seemed to belong to him, exuding a different feeling. Lin Fei knew very well that he had cut off a part of the resentment left behind. Hee, don't worry. I helped you take care of your biggest enemy, Zhang Wanshan. I will also help you complete the next things. You can go in peace. Lin Fei secretly said in his heart, if he cut off the rest of the resentment, the task would be almost completed. In the future, he wouldn't have to worry about being affected by emotions, and he wouldn't have to worry about the situation of qi deviation. When Lin Fei came down from the stage, he found a lot of people gathered together. On the square, there was a sudden burst of enthusiastic cheers. Lin Fei promotion! 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 P.S. There is no fair thing in the world. It is all deception. The weak are prey to the strong. Even if you have a righteous and virtuous heart, you will still be bullied. If you don't want to be bullied, you have to create your own world. I want to break the rules, ethics, order, and build a world that belongs to the heart. Chapter 97. P.S. Thank Liang Xianpeng, Marquis of the Apocalypse. 100 Qijian coins as a tip and asking for recommendation votes. What a dismal recommendation votes. In the first round of the top 100, Lin Fei's promotion was indeed surprising. If it was an ordinary disciple, they wouldn't feel anything. But the result was out of their expectations. The show that they were looking forward to had turned into a one-sided victory. Out of 10 people, there might not be anyone who knew. Zhang Wanshan hadn't even made a move, but he was beaten by Lin Fei to the point where he couldn't even fight back. Apart from shock, everyone would have the same thought. In the short term, Lin Fei must not be offended. At least, before they become profound practitioners, they must not have any conflict with Lin Fei. Lin Fei was too cruel. Li Ding, who was at the 8th level of the martial path and had reached the acme of perfection in the use of earth energy, was actually unable to dodge or defend against Lin Fei's fist technique. It was a rare occurrence. With Lin Fei's strength, other than a fool who would dare to offend Lin Fei. Zhang Wanshan was a good example. The competition of the top 100 disciples ended up like this. It was no less than a joke played by the heavens. They had a new understanding of Lin Fei. Those disciples who had bullied Lin Fei in the past were filled with regret. Why did they bully Lin Fei in the past? Now that he was powerful, what if he wanted to take revenge on them? They didn't dare to think about it. Elderly, I'm sorry. It seems that you can't take away my azure edge sword, but your 1,000-cloud flipping palms. Hu Fei didn't finish his sentence. Everyone knew what he meant. He stroked his beard and laughed. Elderly, to think that you would have such a day. I'm afraid that disciple of yours won't be able to fight for the next few months. Hu Fei laughed in his heart. The two of them had been fighting, and Hu Fei had been at a disadvantage. Now that he had a chance to attack Li Ding, he obviously wouldn't be courteous. His face showed a respectful expression. Elder Hu, don't worry. I will send someone to deliver the palm technique manual. Li Ding flicked his sleeves and stood up. It was obvious that he did not have the face to continue staying here. He was like an ice-cold stone that no one dared to approach. In fact, Li Ding's mood was a mess. In the past, Hu Fei was no match for him in terms of tactics and schemes. He did not expect that he would lose Jing Zhou due to his carelessness this time, allowing that little bastard Lin Fei to snatch his promotion. After Elder Li Ding left, the remaining elders all had smiles on their faces. Well done, Elder Hu. Looks like you have a good disciple. If you train him well, he will definitely become a decent saber expert. To have such a comprehension ability at such a young age, maybe our divine martial sect will produce an expert who has comprehended the Wind Realm, and his name will be known throughout the falling empire. Hu Fei was in a good mood. This time he had found the right disciple. No matter what, he had to take him as his disciple. So what if he cultivated the 9 revolutions mysterious art? He might even have the chance to break through and become a profound practitioner. Hu Fei accepted all of the elders' congratulations. It seemed like he could become Lin Fei's master very soon. Lin Fei did not know that he was valued by the elders and was even going to become an elder's disciple. Right now, Lin Fei was busy dealing with a group of high-ranking disciples. Many of them came to curry favor with him or to seek forgiveness. Being hated by a ferocious enemy was definitely a frightening thing. As Lin Fei defeated Zhang Wanshan, he instantly set a tall and ferocious example. In 3 months, Lin Fei crossed from the 4th heaven of the martial path to the 7th heaven of the martial path, increasing by 3 small realms and becoming a high-ranking martial artist. He showed his might along the way, sweeping his opponents and smoothly entering the top 90. Lin Fei's name instantly surpassed Zhang Wudi and Wang Song, becoming the focus of the outer sect. After all, Lin Fei had set the divine martial sect's record for the shortest cultivation time. 3 small realms, an average of 1 small realm per month. Such a cultivation speed could not be found in the outer sect, and it could be said to be a record. First, cultivation record. Second, valiant combat power, especially the last move. They were all dumbfounded. The tornado-like attack, the saber move mysterious and unpredictable. They could not withstand such a storm of attacks. Third, from trash to a talented disciple, it only took him 3 months. The following battles. Lin Fei once again became a dark horse. After the previous battles, all the opponents he encountered were generally unable to withstand Lin Fei's storm of attacks. Top 80, top 60, top 50, top 40. Lin Fei was strong all the way, killing his way into the top 10. As mentioned before, among the disciples above the 7th heaven of the martial path, there were very few people at each realm, and there were also not many disciples at the 9th heaven of the martial path. Lin Fei's luck was good, and he did not encounter any 9th heaven of the martial path disciples, which could be considered one of the highlights, killing his way into the top 10 of the top 100 disciples. Without a doubt, Lin Fei was the biggest dark horse among them. The top 10 of the outer sect would have the right to enter the forbidden ice ground, and at the same time, they could be selected to become an inner sect disciple, one of 2 opportunities a year. The top 10 of the outer sect were all fought out with strength. With Lin Fei's strength at the 7th heaven of the martial path, it seemed out of place among them, but no one dared to look down on Lin Fei. The top 10 of the outer sect was as solid as ever, without the slightest bit of exaggeration. At this level, regardless of winning or losing, one would obtain the qualification to become an inner sect disciple and comprehend combat skills in the forbidden ice ground. The most exciting moment had finally arrived. Who would be first in the outer sect? Everyone would wait and see. Under the night sky, Lin Fei's residence. In the small courtyard, Lin Fei put down the paper in his hand, letting it fall on the stone table like fallen leaves. His thoughts were full of thoughts, and he was very frustrated. He drew his saber, and his entire body danced in the courtyard like the wind. The baleful black saber slashed forward, like a white light, slashing out one saber after another. Vent, vent. At this time, Lin Fei wanted to vent and cut everything in front of him. *CK, I get what I want. What a headache. Lin Fei thought that he could integrate into the Xiantian continent, but when he received the letter from the Lin family, his subconscious resentment began to play havoc, making him feel uncomfortable all over. This letter was sent by the Lin family. The purpose was very simple, to ask Lin Fei to go back. Lin Fei was not stupid. He knew what Zhang Wanshan's words meant. The Lin family situation was not very good, and they did not expect him to be of much help. It was just a form of etiquette. As for whether he would go or not, Lin Fei believed that the family probably did not remember him. It seemed to be the third young master. Since the letter has come, I can go back. If I don't deal with these things, I will be affected from time to time. It is not a good thing. I hate this kind of uncomfortable feeling. One slash after another, the air in front of him was cut in half. Chapter 98. P.S. Thanks to Liang Xianpeng for the reward of 688 Qijian coins. Thanks to You Mrs. You for the reward of 1888 Qijian coins. Lin Fei was originally in a good mood. The sudden letter from the Lin family was as disgusting as swallowing a fly. It was extremely irritating. The previous Lin Fei was tormenting him again. What was his third young master? A worthless thing. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stayed in the Divine Force sect for 4 years. The resentment didn't come from Lin Fei, but from the previous Lin Fei. Bullsh *T young master. Bullsh *T Lin family. Lin Fei attacked purely to vent his anger, and each attack was stronger than the one before. The resentment left by the previous Lin family, especially towards the Lin family, was no less than the resentment towards Zhang Wanshan. For 4 years, a good time, the Lin family didn't care about him and didn't make any noise. It had a great impact on the Lin family, and they couldn't help but resent him. Therefore, the imposter Lin Fei was unlucky and was affected again. Straight slash, horizontal slash, all kinds of slashes. At this moment, Lin Fei was completely in a state of venting. The baleful black saber rose and fell, and the air was constantly split into two, repeating the cycle. Lin Fei was irritated, and he knew very well that the previous Lin Fei had affected him. The sealed memories kept coming, and they kept attacking him like a torrent. In the courtyard. 1 slash, 10 slashes, 100 slashes. 2 slashes overlapped, 3 slashes overlapped. Lin Fei's entire movement was as smooth as flowing water. He didn't even know how many slashes he had made. Anyway, in his subconscious mind, there was only one thought. Keep slashing. Cut everything. Cut off all the irritations. Too slow. Too slow. Lin Fei shook his head in dissatisfaction. He always felt that the speed of slashing was too slow, and he couldn't slash again before the air closed. Faster. Faster. If anyone was present, they would definitely be dumbfounded. At this moment, Lin Fei's expression was solemn. He grabbed the baleful black saber with both hands and slashed again and again. If one looked closely, 2 slashes, then 3 slashes, then 1 slash. It was clear that the speed of the saber had reached a terrifying level, even breaking through the current limit. If the news of Lin Fei's speed spread outside, everyone would be shocked, especially if the elders were present. He would definitely be surprised to find that this was clearly a state of enlightenment. When a certain saber technique was cultivated to its limit, there would often be an epiphany due to certain reasons. Lin Fei originally wanted to use the speed of his saber strikes to continuously cut away his irritation so that he could vent his anger and not hold it in. As he continued to strike, the only thing in his mind was the saber strikes. Until now, the only thought in his mind was to strike. He always felt that the speed was too slow, and it was not the speed of the saber strikes in his mind. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When Lin Fei raised his saber, and slashed again. His eyes immediately lit up. Yes, that's it. He raised his hand and the saber fell. One saber split into 5. 2 blades divided into 10 blades. The speed of the saber technique was terrifying. Just now, what happened to me? When Lin Fei woke up, the courtyard was in a mess. He was shocked and looked at the courtyard in disbelief. The small courtyard was no longer as quiet as before. Instead, it was in a mess. There were cobweb-like ravines all over the courtyard. On the ground, on the walls, on the stone table, there were cracks left by the saber light everywhere. Every crack was bottomless, like a crack in space, exuding a dangerous aura. Was this caused by me? Lin Fei was relatively confident in his saber technique. He couldn't believe the damage he caused to the small courtyard. The saber intent left in the cracks, and even the mouth of the cracks were completely beyond his imagination. Just now, I seemed to be very irritable and wanted to vent. Then, I don't know why, Lin Fei suddenly realized something and finally recalled something. Could it be that I had a small epiphany again? Rise. Lin Fei grabbed the baleful black saber with one hand and slashed forward. A shocking scene followed. It was a simple slash. Lin Fei slashed out subconsciously. There were 5 slashes in front of him. It was not one slash as he had imagined, but just a casual strike. On the ground of the small courtyard, 5 glaring cracks were cut on the blue stone, proving that everything just now was real. On the arena, Lin Fei's speed had reached the limit. In the eyes of others, it was 1 slash for 20 slashes. Only he himself knew how much effort he had put into this slash. But now a casual strike was 5 slashes. Lin Fei moved forward and waved the baleful black saber again. Swish, 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 bang, bang, bang. Oh my God, I actually broke through the limit and increased the speed of my saber again. I can make 30 slashes with 1 breath of profound qi. Lin Fei himself was dumbfounded as if he was dreaming. 30 slashes. 23 slashes was Lin Fei's maximum limit. He didn't expect that because of a small matter, he could smoothly break through the limit and increase the speed of his saber to 30 slashes. Since I can make 30 slashes, why can't I combine them together and increase the power? Lin Fei's eyes suddenly lit up. He couldn't help but let out a long roar. His feet moved like the wind, and he raised his saber. Swish, 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 Lin Fei morphed into a light breeze, slashing again and again. Every slash came together like a white beam of light slashing the ground. The small yard suddenly rumbled, and a huge shockwave rippled out. Even Lin Fei himself subconsciously used the invincible Vajra body. The power was too great, far beyond his expectations. 3 slashes into 1. 5 slashes into 1. 6 slashes into 1. 10 slashes into 1. 2 hours later, Lin Fei stopped. The small courtyard had become unbearable to look at. Unexpectedly increasing the speed of his saber and combining the saber techniques was just a whim. Lin Fei himself didn't expect that he would have a breakthrough at this time. If I meet Zhang Wanshan again, I'm afraid he won't even be able to block one of my moves. Even though I can only combine 10 slashes into 1, the power produced is still not something he can withstand. Combining 10 slashes into 1 was equivalent to 10 people attacking at the same time. The power was naturally great. Lin Fei had completely tossed aside all his worries from before. Originally, after entering the top 10 of the outer sect, Lin Fei didn't intend to continue to expose his strength. Now that he had an epiphany, he could combine the number of slashes. How terrifying would that be? Unending thunder! The long saber struck out, and a huge hole was immediately blasted open on the blue stone on the ground. Chapter 99. The next day, on the Divine Item Square, the top 10 hegemony competition continued. Today, everyone knew that the Divine Martial Sect would decide the top 10 disciples, especially the most popular outer sect number 1. It was worth looking forward to it. Senior apprentice brother Zhang Wudi first. Senior apprentice brother Zhang Wudi first. Senior apprentice brother Wang Song first. Senior apprentice brother Wang Song first. The top 10 disciples, the most popular were the two senior brothers Zhang Wudi and Wang Song. The cheers were the highest. The other outer sect disciples more or less had a certain chance. Lin Fei was obviously much less. Among the top 10 disciples, 8 were at the 9th level of the martial path, the remaining one was at the 8th level, and the other was the dark horse Lin Fei. The drawing of lots began. The top 10 disciples drew lots and replaced an elder Jin, who was known as impartial, to avoid cheating. Lin Fei versus Jun Wuhui, first ring. Zhang Wudi versus Cheng Xiaohua, second ring. Wang Song versus Taizhan, third ring. The 5 pairs of opponents immediately drew out the results. No one was surprised by this result. It was inevitable that senior apprentice brother Zhang Wudi and Master Wang Song did not meet. 5 pairs of contestants would decide the top 3, and the rest would decide the top 7 disciples. The first ring once again became the focus of attention. They had long heard of the conflict between Lin Fei and Jun Wuhui. No one would have thought that they would meet in the top 10. It was another good show on stage, and they were all looking forward to it. Among them, the most shocked was Jun Wuhui. Lin Fei, you are more powerful than I thought. Jun Wuhui was still dressed in white. However, your luck will stop here. I think you should remember what I said last time. This matter is not over, and now you will start paying the price. Stop. Lin Fei smiled. Senior apprentice brother Jun, you are wrong. It should not be me who stops, but you, Jun Wuhui. As for what you said back then, I don't remember it at all. Jun Wuhui said, I'm not a good-for-nothing like Zhang Wanshan, who only knows how to fight all day long. You'll soon know how wrong you are. I'll kick you off this stage. He unsheathed his sword and pointed it at Lin Fei's chest. A cold light flashed from the tip of the sword. Noble sword technique. This sword was like that of an elegant young master, exuding a cultured and refined aura. In reality, it was filled with boundless killing intent. It was the aura of a true gentleman, majestic and boundless. Jun Wuhui had become famous in the divine martial sect because of this swordsmanship. The gentleman's swordsmanship, the spirit of a gentleman. It was a pity that Jun Wuhui was not a true gentleman. Otherwise, he would not have lost control and attacked Lin Fei in front of everyone in the bounty hall to vent the anger in his heart. When the noble swordsmanship was executed, it was filled with boundless killing intent. It lacked the elegance and carefreeness of a gentleman. As Lin Fei retreated, Jun Wuhui's sword was unable to stab Lin Fei. Clang! Lin Fei swung the baleful black saber in his hand. The saber and the sword collided, and the long sword swung horizontally, deviating from the attack range. At this moment, Lin Fei sneered, Senior apprentice brother Jun, you've come for no reason. Try taking one of my moves. The fierce saber slashed down with a fierce aura. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Fleeting bloom. Jun Wuhui was not an easy opponent to deal with either. The noble sword in his hand moved in a strange manner, stabbing out at 6 different spots. Each spot was in a different position, the front, the middle, the left, and the right. Each spot was accompanied by a sword flower. 6 sword flowers appeared, as if they were a real flower. Lin Fei became the pistol of the flower. He had nowhere to hide, and all his paths of retreat were cut off. He was in danger. What a powerful swordsmanship! As expected of senior apprentice brother Jun. This time, Lin Fei is in danger. Below the arena, most of the people were gathered together. Lin Fei had become the biggest dark horse this time. In fact, many people had already noticed that he had defeated Jun Wuhui and entered the top 3. With this strength, even the 8th heaven of the martial path would not dare to disrespect him. Unexpectedly, in today's top 10, Jun Wuhui, who had amazing swordsmanship, put Lin Fei in danger. Some people were even ready to start cheering. It turned out that Lin Fei also had a day when he was defeated. However, when blooming fresh flowers unleashed a slash, the situation immediately changed. The dangerous blockade was instantly broken, and it no longer existed. Clang! Thump, thump, thump. Jun Wuhui took 6 steps back, consecutively. "How could you break my swordsmanship?" Lin Fei said. "Hee, you don't have the right to know." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Fei swung his saber down. The first slash, Jun Wuhui's hand went numb. The second slash, the long sword left Jun Wuhui's hand. The third slash, Jun Wuhui's chest was stabbed and blood spurted out wildly. His face was full of shock. Another slash came down. Crack! The back of Lin Fei's saber slashed down and landed heavily on Jun Wuhui's back. Suddenly there was a cracking sound and the bones were broken. "Now you understand." Lin Fei kicked Jun Wuhui's chest, and the sound of his ribs breaking could be heard. He completely lost the ability to fight. "You hit it so well." The group of elders was slightly stunned. "Good lad, you actually made another breakthrough before Lin Fei's duel." No wonder Lin Fei lost so quickly. An elder obviously made a name for himself. 3 saber strikes in one. I didn't expect Lin Fei to be so powerful. I thought that the previous battle was Lin Fei's true strength. I didn't expect him to have this move. It's really impressive and admirable. When Lin Fei used his saber just now, others might not have been able to see it clearly. These elders were all experienced people. How could they not see the changes in Lin Fei's saber technique? A person could only make a certain amount of progress in saber techniques if they studied the long sword. In this short period of time, Lin Fei made another breakthrough in saber techniques. What kind of talent did this require? At least, among the divine martial sect's outer sect disciples, there were very few people who could reach this step. Looks like Lin Fei has a chance to become the outer sect's #1. It was unknown which elder said such an inconceivable sentence. If it was in normal times, no one would affirm these words. It was normal to oppose it. But this time, the meaning was completely different. This disciple, Lin Fei, had the qualifications to fight. The outer sect disciples should appear among Zhang Wudi, Wang Song, and Lin Fei. Actually, I guessed so too. Not long after Lin Fei defeated Jun Wuhui, there were immediately results in the other 3 arenas. Just as everyone guessed, Zhang Wudi was the second disciple to win. The next one was Wang Song, and then there were 2 more disciples. Their speed was not ordinary fast. And among them, Zhang Wudi and Wang Song's gazes began to change. The reason was very simple. Just now, they saw the changes in Lin Fei's saber technique, which made them feel the danger of a 9th-level martial path genius. A 9th-level martial path genius felt the existence of danger. In other words, Chapter 100. The top 5 were decided at the first moment. Lin Fei was still one of the dark horses. He defeated Jun Wuhui with a swift blade, making the other party unable to retaliate. This was enough to prove his qualifications as a dark horse and was more than enough to become a super dark horse. Elder Zhang went on the stage once again. The drawing of lots began again. This time, the drawing of lots was very surprising. The super dark horse Lin Fei was unbelievably lucky. It was equivalent to entering the top 3 in advance. As for the 2 pairs of opponents, there were Zhang Wudi and Wang Song and Qian Hu and Kong Weia. Lin Fei himself was a little surprised that his luck would be so good. He was lucky to get a bye and truly locked in the top 3 of the outer sect. Arena #1. Arena #2. It once again attracted the attention of the disciples. Go, senior brother Zhang. Go, senior brother Zhang. Go, senior brother Wang Song. Go, senior brother Wang Song. The audience cheered loudly. Zhang Wudi and Wang Song had the highest chances of winning. Whoever won would completely take the glory of the outer sex, number one. Clang! Both of them were sword experts. They attacked at the first moment, sword chi sweeping out. The battle officially began. One had to say that the battle between the two completely exceeded everyone's imagination. They were truly worthy of being outer sect disciples at the ninth firmament of the martial Tao. Their comprehension of sword techniques moved at will. The two were evenly matched. Zhang Wudi walked the path of domineering dominance. His sword technique showed a domineering trend. Often, when his sword came down, it was as fierce as his fist technique. Wang Song's sword technique was light, like a willow leaf fluttering in the wind. His sword technique did not belong to Zhang Wudi at all. The two were evenly matched. Neither of them could do anything to the other. The scene was not an ordinary kind of intense. It made the blood of the watching disciples boil. They wished they could be on the stage. What a powerful sword technique! Lin Fei had been paying attention to the battle between the two. No matter which one it was, Lin Fei did not dare to look down on them. He secretly rejoiced. If not for his breakthrough in his saber technique, he might not be their match. He would definitely lose. Their sword techniques were too powerful. Although the two's sword techniques were exquisite and their comprehension was extraordinary, after 200 moves, the situation was one-sided. In the end, senior brother Zhang Wudi was the dark horse from last time. In half a year, his strength had advanced by leaps and bounds. With the mother-child sword technique that he had secretly cultivated to large success, he had forcefully broken through Wang Song's attack and defeated him in one move. A battle of 200 moves was the best way to prove one's strength. Looks like my opponent is brother Zhang Wudi. Lin Fei licked his lips. Last night, he had an epiphany and made a breakthrough in his saber technique. He had wanted to fight for a long time to know the difference between him and a true martial Tao level 9 expert. The opportunity had finally come. An hour later, Lin Fei defeated another opponent, Qian Hu, in 30 slashes and successfully entered the finals. In the end, Lin Fei and Zhang Wudi took first place. This result was out of everyone's expectations. Lin Fei, a latecomer, with the strength of the seventh sky of the martial path, had defeated 6 opponents in one go and made it to the finals of the outer disciple tournament. How miraculous! How unimaginable! They didn't dare to imagine what would happen if Lin Fei took first place. They didn't even know how to imagine it. Presumably, in the outer sect of the Divine Force sect, Lin Fei had broken all kinds of records in the shortest time in history. On the first arena, Zhang Wudi and Lin Fei fought for the first time. Hee, I didn't expect to meet a dark horse like brother Lin Fei in this finals. Looks like brother Lin Fei won't let me down. Zhang Wudi looked at Lin Fei and said. His tone was full of fighting spirit. He was like a crazy martial artist who met someone who was willing to fight, and Lin Fei was worthy of fighting. Lin Fei could tell from senior brother Zhang Wudi's eyes that he was a martial artist. He cupped his hands and said, Senior brother, you flatter me. I was just lucky all the way. However, for senior brother Zhang's words, I will definitely show my true abilities. Zhang Wudi threw his head back and laughed. Good. I will wait and see. No matter what the result is, you are worthy of fighting. Please. Lin Fei cupped his hands again, and his expression became serious. Slash. Lin Fei used his drifting wind body technique and closed the distance between him and Zhang Wudi. He slashed the black saber with its scabbard. The saber radiance was like a rainbow, slashing toward Zhang Wudi. Good saber skill. Although it was just an ordinary saber, Zhang Wudi's eyes lit up. He unsheathed his sword and felt the power of the saber. Cross slash. Clang, clang. The two of them fought in an instant and then separated. Their speed was so fast that no one could see the traces of their fight. This was a peak battle between the two of them. The fight for first place in the outer disciples. Brother Lin Fei is so powerful. He can block Brother Zhang Wudi's attack with the strength of the seventh sky of Martial Path. He is indeed a strong dark horse this time. I'm afraid the dark horse is about to end. Lin Fei will definitely lose to Brother Zhang Wudi because of the gap in cultivation. Can't you see that Lin Fei is starting to lose? So, Brother Lin Fei's situation is not right. It seems like he is being suppressed by Brother Zhang Wudi. It seems that the gap in cultivation is quite big. On the first arena, the two of them exchanged blows, and the sound of sabers and swords could be heard. The first arena was in danger. Apart from the saber light, there was nothing else. Dang! The two of them separated again. At this moment, the two of them had more or less changed. There were few holes on Lin Fei's clothes, and blood dyed them red. Obviously, there was a gap in the battle. On the other hand, Zhang Wudi's breathing was rapid. It was different from Wang Song. It could be said that they were competing on the consumption of xianqi. One's saber technique was domineering, and the other's sword technique was domineering. Both of them were domineering. The consumption of xianqi in their bodies was not something ordinary people could compare to. Brother Lin Fei, if this goes on, I'm afraid you will lose in the arena. Could it be that I am not worthy of you drawing your saber? Zhang Wudi held his sword and pointed it at Lin Fei. His face showed a little regret, or rather, some dissatisfaction. At least, in the outer sect, no one could be so ferocious. After exchanging blows, Lin Fei's strength was not considered strong, but his movement technique was fast and his saber technique was ferocious. Using speed to drive the saber technique could be considered a fighting style. Among the outer sect disciples, few could do this. Lin Fei lowered his head and took a look. This was a rare injury in the arena. After this battle, he had a good understanding of the 9 heavens of the martial path. It seems that if I don't use my killing move, I won't be able to defeat Zhang Wudi. This guy is really strong. Lin Fei thought and immediately made a decision. Use a big move. Haha. Since Senior Brother has said so, if I don't make a move, I'm afraid I will disappoint Senior Brother. In that case, Senior Brother, take on the continuous saber ocean that I have just learned. Lin Fei tapped his feet and his aura suddenly increased. He was like a sharp saber, extremely dangerous. He raised his saber and went straight to the point. Good. Let's see who is stronger now. Zhang Wudi could feel the danger in this saber technique. It was more dangerous than any of the previous saber techniques. He knew that this was Junior Brother Lin Fei's killing move. 10,000 swords returned to origin. Countless sword shadows appeared in Zhang Wudi's hands. Invisible buzzing sounds could be heard as sword qi filled the arena. Merge. Slash. When Lin Fei's saber moved smoothly, the countless sword shadows kept merging and merging. It was like a continuous saber ocean. A dangerous aura filled the air. The elders on the elders' platform were shocked. The first saber, 10,000 swords returned to origin. The second saber, Zhang Wudi's sword broke. The third saber, Earth Qi broke, and Zhang Wudi quickly retreated. The fourth saber, a loud rumble sounded. The entire arena couldn't bear the attack and collapsed. Countless rocks flew everywhere, and many disciples were injured in an instant. After the smoke and dust dissipated, the location of Arena Number 1 had long since become a stretch of ruins. In the ruins, a blurry figure appeared. Then, a shocked and unbelievable expression appeared on his face. Lin Fei came out. Zhang Wudi's face was pale. He was lying on the rubble. He was defeated by 5 saber strikes. Lin Fei is mighty. Lin Fei is number 1. Chapter 101. The Divine Force Sect. Speaking of the matter that was in the limelight recently, it had to be the Outer Court's number 1 dark horse, Lin Fei. 3 months ago, Lin Fei was at the bottom of the Divine Force Sect. No one knew who he was. But now he learned the 9 Revolutions' mysterious art by accident, obtained a great opportunity in the Blackwater mountain range, broke through to the 7th sky of the martial path, and made a breakthrough in his blade technique. He defeated Zhang Wudi, the most popular disciple of the outer sect, and won the supreme honor of being the first in the outer sect. It was unknown how many people were taken aback by this news. It was a rare thing that had never happened in the Divine Force sect. A disciple at the seventh sky of the martial path won first in the outer sect, won the right to study battle techniques in the forbidden ice ground, and won the right to enter the inner sect. Everyone knew that Lin Fei's glory days would soon pass. Formidable figures could be found everywhere amongst the inner court disciples, and there was no lack of inner court disciples that had advanced into the profounder realm. Moreover, Lin Fei cultivated a trash mental cultivation technique, the 9 revolutions profound technique, so it was impossible for anyone who cultivated it to break through. The low-level disciples felt it was a pity, but for the high-level disciples, Lin Fei was a dark horse. He had blinded their eyes and made them feel very uncomfortable. They could not accept that a former piece of trash was above them. If Zhang Wudi hadn't been defeated by Lin Fei, they wouldn't have minded fighting with him. But now they could only wait for Lin Fei to enter the inner sect. Fortunately, Lin Fei was qualified to enter the inner sect. Many high-level disciples were gloating, watching how Lin Fei would be tortured by the inner sect disciples. While everyone was excited and watching a good show in a house where the disciples lived in the Divine Force sect, the pungent smell of medicine filled the room. Under the dim light, a young man was lying on the bed. His face was pale and his face was ferocious. His chest was violently bulging. How could he win first in the outer sect? Impossible. He's trash. If someone was here, they would recognize him. This was Zhang Wanli, who had been beaten up by Lin Fei. Zhang Wanli had been in a comatose state since the battle in the arena. When he woke up today and heard the news, he felt as if someone had cut his chest with a knife and sprinkled salt water on it. Anger. His anger was monstrous. Zhang Wanshan was extremely unwilling to accept his defeat. He hadn't even used his trump card, and was beaten up by Lin Fei in front of all the disciples. He could already imagine that he would definitely become the laughingstock of the outer sect disciples. All of this was because of Lin Fei. If not for Lin Fei, he could have easily entered the top 10 of the outer sect, or even become the number 1 outer sect disciple. He was filled with hatred. All of this was because of Lin Fei. It was all because of him. Losing face was one thing. Secondly, Zhang Wanshan didn't dare to face his master. As his master's favorite disciple, he was very clear about his master's temperament. Zhang Wanshan didn't dare to think about losing so badly this time. Big brother, that trash Lin Fei is about to become an inner court disciple. What should we do? Zhang Chongshan's face was already pale. He didn't dare to go out these few days, afraid that he would be laughed at by the other disciples. Right now, those disciples didn't know that the 2 brothers were beaten by Lin Fei to the point that they didn't dare to go out, and their big brother was even beaten up in the arena. What are you shouting for? I will kill you with 1 slap. Zhang Wanshan roared with all his strength, and then he spat out a mouthful of blood. His injuries hadn't recovered yet. On the arena, Lin Fei's attack was very heavy, and he couldn't recover in a few days. This roar immediately affected his injuries. This caused the current situation. Cousin, don't be angry. Recovering is more important. In the house, Zhang Chongshan wasn't the only one. Zhang Fenglang was also there. After finally calming down, he thought about the humiliating scene on the arena. His face immediately turned ferocious, and his eyes were filled with hatred. He wanted nothing more than to kill Lin Fei. Send a messenger pigeon immediately. Tell the family that no matter what, we can't let that trash Lin Fei return to the Lin family. Lin Fei must die. Even though he was angry, Zhang Wanli still knew what was important. Lin Fei defeated him, and Zhang Wanli couldn't help but admit that he couldn't look at this trash with ordinary eyes anymore. Even if he couldn't become a profound practitioner, he was still a big potential opponent. The Lin family was no longer the Lin family of the past. Once Lin Fei returned, he would definitely become a dangerous opponent. This time, he was heavily injured and couldn't go back. He could only rely on the family to deal with Lin Fei. Big brother, this is a good idea. This time, Lin Fei is dead for sure. He's dead for sure. Zhang Chongshan was now a frightened bird, and he didn't dare to go out, afraid that Lin Fei would come looking for him. Now that he heard that the family was going to send people to kill Lin Fei, he looked forward to it the most. Cousin, I think this is a good idea. Lin Fei didn't know that Zhang Wanli was planning to deal with him again. At this time, Lin Fei was following a few elders to a heavily guarded place in the divine martial sect. Before entering the place, an icy cold air spread outside the cave. Not a single blade of grass grew outside the cave, emitting cold air. This was not an ordinary place. If someone was here, they would definitely recognize that this was a secret place in the divine martial sect, the Forbidden Ice Land. This place shouldn't be underestimated. The Forbidden Ice Land was a very popular place in the divine martial sect, and ordinary people didn't have the qualifications to come here. If it weren't for the top 10 outer sect disciples getting this opportunity, they might not have the chance to come here in their lifetime. Moreover, this place was heavily guarded, and there were experts hiding in the dark to guard the Forbidden Ice Land. This is the Forbidden Ice Land, the place to comprehend supreme combat skills. The one who spoke was Elder Wang Tai, an elder who guarded the Forbidden Ice Land. He rarely appeared, and because he cultivated an ice attribute cultivation technique, his aura was very cold. The top 10 outer sect disciples were all standing outside, circulating the Xian Qi in their bodies to resist the cold air. Their faces were either filled with excitement or shock. Their opportunity was in the Forbidden Ice Land. They endured the elder's words and listened to him. When you go in later, you should know that the Forbidden Ice Land is divided into the elementary area, the intermediate area, and the advanced area. You can only move around in the elementary area for now. This is the Cold Defense Talisman, and it can last for 3 days. If you still can't comprehend any combat skills in 3 days, you must come out. Otherwise, the cold air will freeze your internal organs. Be careful, be careful. They were slightly startled. They didn't expect there to be something special in the Forbidden Ice Land. Soon, they received a round talisman. The talisman was a kind of auxiliary item in the Xiantian continent. Once the Xian Qi was activated, it could activate the inside of the talisman, causing a series of changes. Chapter 102. P.S. Thank you, Garden of Eden, for your 100 Qijian coins. I went back to my hometown today. I climbed the mountain and came back at night. I'm sorry. Outside the Forbidden Ice Ground. Cold air covered the entire Forbidden Ice Ground like knives. Those under the 5th sky of the martial path couldn't release their Xian Qi. Outside the Forbidden Ice Ground, they couldn't even block a single cold current. They were frozen to death. Lin Fei's group entered the Forbidden Ice Ground one by one after they understood the situation. As soon as they entered the Forbidden Land of Ice, the frigid air currents in the Forbidden Land of Ice whistled past like blades. A white shield appeared around everyone's body. The frigid air currents seemed to have encountered a sharp blade, and they immediately split into 2. Then, like a stream of water, they split into 3, forming a miraculous scene. That was the power of the Cold Defense Talisman. They all went in. When Lin Fei's group went in, a black shadow appeared outside the Forbidden Ice Ground. Yes, they just went in, Wang Tai said. Looks like this group is pretty good. I hope there will be good disciples this time. The Forbidden Ice Ground was a place to learn battle skills. Genius disciples had always wanted to go to this place. In the end, the number of disciples who were able to comprehend battle skills were few and far between. The comprehension of battle skills was very profound. Ordinary people would not be able to comprehend them. I heard that this time, a dark horse appeared among the outer sect disciples and suppressed everyone. I also heard that he comprehended the 9 revolutions, mysterious art. That's why he improved by leaps and bounds. I wonder if Lin Fei will create another miracle. Wang Tai was deep in thought. The 9 revolutions, mysterious art? Isn't that a useless mental cultivation method? It seems that there are very few outer sect disciples who can learn the 9 revolutions, mysterious art. Maybe there will be an unexpected scene. I'm looking forward to it. Forbidden Ice Ground. Lin Fei, do you dare to make a bet with me? The forbidden ice ground had very low visibility. The 10 of them moved very slowly. The cold currents were very powerful. Although the cold defense talisman could resist the cold, it wasn't strong enough, so they couldn't move fast. The one who spoke was none other than Zhang Wudi, who was slightly weaker than him. Zhang Wudi had lost to Zhang Wanshan in the competition for the number 1 spot in the outer sect, and he had been suppressing his anger ever since. He wasn't like Zhang Wanshan, who would be jealous of him. Zhang Wudi did not mind losing a match. Instead, he treated Lin Fei as his strongest opponent. When they heard this, the remaining people were slightly startled. Soon after, they understood what he meant and looked at Lin Fei thoughtfully. Senior brother Zhang, what are we betting on? Lin Fei asked directly. Lin Fei had a better understanding of Zhang Wudi after the short battle. He was a good opponent, unlike Zhang Wanshan. Therefore, Lin Fei wasn't disgusted by Zhang Wudi's words. On the contrary, he was curious about what kind of bet Zhang Wudi would propose. Zhang Wudi looked satisfied. He pointed at the surroundings and said, Junior brother Lin, do you see the changes? Everyone followed his gaze. At some point in time, they had arrived at the outskirts of the Forbidden Ice Land. What entered their eyes was a stone monument that was several dozen feet tall, standing in the middle of the Forbidden Ice Land. Battle skill stone steel. Everyone's eyes lit up. They didn't care about the inner disciple qualification, but it was their dream to have a chance to comprehend a supreme combat skill, even if it was just a basic one. Combat skill. A supreme combat skill. You want to compete with me in combat skills? Lin Fei said with a smile. Zhang Wudi shook his head. It's not a competition of combat skills. It's about who can comprehend a combat skill the fastest. Junior brother Lin, do you dare to compete with me? Zhang Wudi was unwilling to accept his loss last time. Therefore, he decided to compete with Lin Fei in another way. At the mention of this bet, Lin Fei thought of the bet he had made back then. His pockets bulged, and he immediately became spirited. I like this. You really agree? Zhang Wudi was surprised. Lin Fei was really bold. They were just competing to see who was better. As for the others, they were shocked. They didn't dare to say anything. It wasn't a matter between them. It was more of a battle of pride, within the range of a basic combat skill. Everyone split up and started to look for their own stone steels to comprehend a supreme combat skill. As for whether they could succeed or not, they didn't know. Lin Fei found a remote place. Divine Wind Fist, a basic combat skill. Lin Fei was shocked. There were many stone steels in the forbidden ice ground. The Divine Wind Fist in front of him was a basic combat skill. Lin Fei looked at it from the beginning to the end. This basic combat skill could allow one to throw out 100 punches in one breath. Its power was shocking, surpassing that of a normal fist art. Divine Wind Fist looks good, but compared to 10,000 Mile Saber, it's still too far away. Intermediate combat skills were Lin Fei's biggest trump card. He had never used it before. Now that he saw so many combat skills, Lin Fei couldn't help but be excited. It was as if someone immediately sent him a pillow when he was sleepy. Fist art is not very good. I should choose a knife combat skill. If he didn't have the evil black blade, Lin Fei would definitely choose a fist art. After trying the power of a knife art, he gradually liked the refreshing feeling of killing people with one strike. Therefore, Lin Fei wanted to choose a knife combat skill. 10,000 Mile Saber was an intermediate combat skill. Lin Fei usually wouldn't use it. It was too domineering. More importantly, It consumed too much chi in his body. A basic combat skill was the most suitable for him. World Domination Fist, Sky-Breaking Sword, Shadowless Sword. He looked all the way. Lin Fei himself was shocked because there were more basic combat skills than he had imagined. No wonder they were one of the 3 major sects of the indestructible dynasty. If word of these battle techniques were to spread outside, who knew how many people would fight to the death, setting off a bloody storm, an intense and bitter battle. The combat skills they were looking forward to were all gathered in the forbidden ice ground. The divine martial sect's means were not ordinary. Lin Fei understood the difference between the inner sect and the outer sect. There must be a lot of people in the inner sect who knew combat skills. However, Lin Fei knew one thing about the comprehension of combat skills. It was not easy to comprehend. If it was so easy to comprehend, the number of combat skills in the outer sect would not be as few as phoenix feathers and unicorn horns. Along the way, he saw that the combat skill steel was not small. There were even traces left near the combat skill steel, all of which were traces of comprehension. It could be seen how difficult it was to comprehend combat skills. In the past, Lin Fei didn't believe it. After seeing the traces left in the forbidden ice ground, he finally understood it again. The comprehension of a basic combat skill was no less than reaching the sky. Now that he thought about it, if he hadn't seen the mystery of the attack of 10,000-Mile Saber, Lin Fei didn't believe he could learn a middle-level combat skill. Chapter 103. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Outside the forbidden ice ground, Elder Wang Tai had been resting on an ice rock with his eyes closed. White mist surrounded him, but he didn't seem to be afraid of the cold at all. He was like a statue. At this moment, a few people had come out from behind Wang Tai. They were the top 10 outer disciples. All of them had dejected expressions on their faces. It was obvious that they had failed to comprehend the battle skill. Wang Tai's eyes were closed, but his expression was changing. Lin Fei, Zhang Wudi, and Jun Wuhui. I wonder which of the 3 will comprehend the battle skill. I hope they won't disappoint me this time. Wang Tai saw the expressions of the 7 people behind him clearly. This result was within his expectations. Comprehending a battle skill was extremely difficult. Countless people had come in high spirits, but returned in disappointment. Their expressions showed that they were not surprised at all. Every time 1 or 2 disciples comprehended a battle skill, it was a good thing. If they were unlucky, they would all return empty-handed or even be injured by the cold air. The cold air didn't seem to be very useful, but once they lost the talisman, the cold air would affect their physical body and affect their future cultivation. Usually, after 3 days, the talisman would lose its effect, and the disciples would give up on comprehending the battle skill and leave the forbidden ice ground. Until the evening, someone came out. It should be Senior Brother Zhang Wudi. Other than Senior Brother Zhang Wudi, the others shouldn't be able to comprehend a battle skill. The people behind Wang Tai began to discuss carefully, afraid that they would make Elder Wang unhappy. Because the forbidden ice ground was located in a secret place, Elder Wang Tai had brought it in and had to leave with it to avoid any danger. A person walked out of the white mist, looking very dispirited. Senior Brother Jun. Senior Brother Jun came out. They were all very surprised that it was Senior Brother Jun Wuhui. From his expression, they all knew that Senior Brother Jun Wuhui had failed. Disciple greets Elder Wang. Jun Wuhui's face was pale. No one knew if it was because of the cold air or because he had failed. Do you want to comprehend a battle skill? Disciple is stupid and failed to comprehend a battle skill. I've disappointed Elder. Haha, it's all right. If a battle skill can be easily comprehended, then it's a supreme battle skill. Continue to work hard in the future. Wang Tai did not open his mouth and said calmly, I understand. Jun Wuhui lowered his head and stood behind Wang Tai. Inadvertently, a cold smile flashed across his eyes. It was almost evening. The cold current intensified. If they were not standing behind Wang Tai, they would have suffered greatly from the cold current. The fact that Lin Fei and Zhang Wuti hadn't come out yet surprised the others. If it was said that Lin Fei took first place in the outer sect, they would not be too happy. Then, at this moment, regardless of whether Lin Fei comprehended a battle technique or not, it was impossible not to admire his determination. No wonder he could rush all the way from the fourth heaven of the martial path to the seventh heaven. They sighed at their inferiority. Lin Fei was the number one in the outer sect. He lived up to his name. Another 2 hours passed. The cold wind whistled, and the sky darkened. Finally, someone came out of the cave. This time no one made any guesses. Instead, they waited quietly. Senior brother Zhang Wuti? When Zhang Wuti walked out, their eyes widened in disbelief. Lin Fei had lasted until the end. Could it be that he really comprehended a battle skill? They didn't dare to imagine. It was a battle skill. Greetings, Elder Wang. Zhang Wuti's spirit, qi and spirit, seemed to be very tired, but his pair of bright and spirited eyes conveyed another meaning. You've used up a lot of energy, but I can smell a familiar aura on you. It seems that you've successfully comprehended a battle skill. Wang Tai still didn't open his eyes, but his words were like a bomb. Battle skill? Did senior brother Zhang really comprehend a battle skill? Everyone's heart ached. It wasn't easy for them to get into the top 10 of the outer sect. But when they faced the stone tablet, they were like blind people trying to cross a river. They had no idea where to start and wasted 3 days. Zhang Wuti replied humbly, Elder, you have a good eye. I have indeed comprehended a new battle technique. Ice seals the world. He was in high spirits as he glanced at the exit. Lin Fei, don't disappoint me. With Icebound World, you're no match for me. At this moment, Zhang Wuti was happier than anyone else. He had defeated Lin Fei, who was ranked first in the outer sect. Zhang Wuti didn't care about being ranked first in the outer sect. What he cared about was losing to a newcomer. So, no matter what, he had to defeat Lin Fei. In 3 days, Zhang Wuti managed to comprehend a battle technique. He had been suppressing his desire to defeat Lin Fei. When he came out and didn't see Lin Fei, he was half happy and half hesitant. Zhang Wuti hoped that he could defeat Lin Fei with a battle skill, but he didn't want to defeat him easily. Not bad, you've done well. Icebound World is a battle skill and sword art. Once it's executed, it can freeze a radius of 10,000 li. With your strength, you can freeze a radius of 10 zhang with Icebound World. Go back and learn it well. The people behind him were all envious. There were many types of battle skills. The ultimate Yin battle skill was a relatively unpopular battle skill. They had all experienced the cold current before. If it was used as a battle skill, they couldn't imagine how powerful it would be. Lin Fei was probably going to lose this time. Zhang Wuti's comprehension was not something that Lin Fei could compare to. They were all very happy to see Lin Fei suffer. They could almost see Lin Fei's depressed expression. So what if he was ranked first in the outer sect? He had comprehended a peerless battle skill. After all, everyone could imagine the benefits of battle skills. Until evening, just when everyone was getting impatient, Lin Fei appeared at the exit of the forbidden ice ground. Compared to Zhang Wuti, Lin Fei's complexion was much better. Lin Fei, battle skills are not easy to comprehend. There's no need to be discouraged if you fail, Jun Wuhui reminded Lin Fei with a serious face. In fact, it was equivalent to suppressing Lin Fei. Jun Wuhui didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of impartial Elder Wang, so he used his words to make Lin Fei feel better. Zhang Wuti was also slightly stunned, as if something was missing in his heart. Everyone agreed with Jun Wuhui. Lin Fei was not talented. It was only a coincidence that he comprehended the 9 revolutions mysterious art. It was 10,000 times more difficult to comprehend battle skills. It was normal for Lin Fei to be unable to comprehend battle skills. Everyone was a little satisfied. After all, they didn't really approve of Lin Fei. Unexpectedly, Elder Wang Tai, who had been resting with his eyes closed, suddenly stood up. "You're Lin Fei, right?" Elder Wang's words surprised everyone. Lin Fei nodded. "Elder, I am Lin Fei." "You're not bad." Wang Tai patted Lin Fei's shoulder. "I hope you can make another breakthrough." They were confused. Everyone was confused. What did Elder Wang mean by this? Chapter 104. They were indeed shocked, but they didn't dare to ask Elder Wang what was going on. They all looked at him strangely. Lin Fei was amused. "You want to suppress me? It's not your turn yet." He also felt strange. Why would Elder Wang be so kind as to help him out? In fact, Elder Wang's actions made Lin Fei feel strange himself. He vaguely felt that Elder Wang's eyes were full of praise, which made Lin Fei feel surprised. He secretly came to a decision. This Elder Wang was not simple. He could see through it at a glance, but he didn't say it out loud, which was very strange. Just when everyone wanted to know the result, Elder Wang opened his mouth and solved the doubts in everyone's hearts. As the top 10 disciples of the Outer Gate, this time 2 disciples have comprehended combat skills. One is Zhang Wudi's Frozen World. The other is Lin Fei's 9 Heavy Waves. 9 heavy waves? Elder Wang spat out 9 heavy waves. The rest of them subconsciously opened their eyes wide, almost thinking that they had heard wrong. In terms of talent, they were better than Lin Fei. In terms of martial arts, they were also better than Lin Fei. Who would have thought that, in terms of comprehension of combat skills, they were no match for Lin Fei at all? 9 heavy waves, these 3 words, they were quite confused. However, Zhang Wudi's expression changed slightly. He looked at Lin Fei with a very complicated expression. He originally thought that, by comprehending combat skills, he could suppress Lin Fei. The only thing he didn't expect was that Lin Fei's comprehension was so strong that he could comprehend 9 heavy waves in 3 days. Zhang Wudi had heard of 9 heavy waves. This was a fist combat skill. If others learned it, Zhang Wudi wouldn't be too shocked. His own frozen world was extremely powerful. Although it couldn't freeze the world, it was absolutely no problem to freeze an area. Lin Fei learned 9 heavy waves. The meaning was completely different, especially when he cultivated the 9 revolutions mysterious art. The 9 revolutions mysterious qi was famous for its fierceness. With 9 heavy waves, this combat skill was no less than tailor-made. He lost. Zhang Wudi let out a long sigh. His heart was filled with unwillingness. As for the others, they were all shocked. It was normal for Zhang Wudi to comprehend battle skills, but for Lin Fei to comprehend battle skills was like a 1-year-old child learning how to speak. It was completely unbelievable. The Forbidden Land of Ice had come out. The group dispersed and returned to their own residences. The next morning, Lin Fei packed his belongings and was ready to return to the Lin family that he had not returned to for many years to become an inner disciple. The Godly Force sect had specially given him a long holiday, 2 months' time. As for the others, they were not so lucky. After taking care of the vacation, Lin Fei came down from the Gate of Divine Force. At the foot of the mountain, any outer sect disciple who saw Lin Fei would treat him with the utmost respect. Lin Fei's terror, Lin Fei's brutality, all the disciples had seen it with their own eyes. No one dared to offend Lin Fei again. Today was different from the past. Lin Fei was no longer someone they could casually comment on. The glory of being the first in the outer sect was something they could never achieve in their lifetime, but Lin Fei had only spent 3 months to achieve it. As soon as he came down from the mountain, Lin Fei saw someone waiting for him at the foot of the mountain. Why is he here? Is he not convinced? Lin Fei thought to himself, but he did not stop moving. He walked towards Zhang Wudi. This person was none other than Zhang Wudi. Lin Fei, don't misunderstand me. I'm not here to cause you trouble. Zhang Wudi was carrying a bag on his shoulder, and he looked at Lin Fei with a complicated expression. Who is that? Lin Fei asked. He also did not understand. You are the first person who made me want to fight. There are many strong inner sect disciples. I hope you can always be like this. One day we will be opponents again, Zhang Wudi said seriously. Lin Fei smiled. I like having you as an opponent. I am very honored. That's great. Zhang Wudi turned around and left. He didn't do it in the usual way. After he came down from the Shenwu sect, Lin Fei changed into a black robe and spent 5,000 silver to buy a horse. He leisurely went home. This time he was not in a hurry at all. The Buluo dynasty had 10 counties. The place where Lin Fei's family was located was one of the 10 counties, Shanhe County. Shanhe County was not the strongest among the 10 counties. It could only be considered average. The distance was relatively far, and it would take about 8 days to get there. This time, Lin Fei went on a sightseeing tour and tasted all kinds of snacks along the way. Time flew, and in a short time, 7 days had passed. On this day, Lin Fei entered the territory of Shanhe County. After enjoying the scenery, Lin Fei did not show any signs of fatigue on his face. Without any pressure, his entire body felt relaxed, no longer as tense and pressured as before. On the official road, a black horse was approaching from afar. A young man was lying on the black horse, holding a wild fruit in his hand. He looked very lazy. Shanhe County, I will reach Guiyuan City in a day. I wonder what the Lin family's expression will be when they know that the previous Lin Fei has achieved so much. I think it will be interesting. On the black horse, Lin Fei looked at the blue sky and white clouds. He had never felt so relaxed before. Ever since he came to this world, Lin Fei had never felt so at ease. He enjoyed the rare blue sky and white clouds. Now that he finally had a chance to enjoy himself, Lin Fei would certainly enjoy it. Little Black, what's wrong? After taking a bite of the juicy fruit, the black horse suddenly became irritable. It looked very uneasy, as if it had encountered something terrible. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. He gently patted the black horse. Calm down, calm down. Xian Qi was injected into the black horse's body. The irritable black horse suddenly calmed down. Its huge eyes were bright. It stopped on the official road and stepped on the gravel on the ground. Don't hide. Come out. A lazy voice came out from Lin Fei's mouth. Clapping sounds came from both sides of the official road. It was very clear on the quiet official road. On both sides of the official road, 10 people came out of the woods. The leaders were 2 people who looked very similar. One was expressionless, and the other had peach blossom eyes. They were very similar to women. If you guys want to rob me, then don't. I don't have any money, so you'll definitely be working for nothing. Just let me go, or else you'll end up with nothing. Lin Fei thought they were robbers and said casually, Lin family's boy, I haven't seen you for a few years. You are quite bold. The expressionless man said coldly, You are from the Zhang family. Lin Fei immediately frowned. He lifted his body and sat on the black horse. He immediately thought of someone. In the Divine Force sect, Lin Fei had very few enemies. Who dared to kill him in Shanhe Prefecture? Without thinking, he immediately knew who dared to kill him. It was the Zhang family. Except for the Zhang family, there should be no one else. The man with peach blossom eyes flicked his thumb and middle finger. Yo, as expected of someone from the Lin family. Your reaction isn't just an ordinary kind of fast. Unfortunately, no matter how fast your reaction is, so what? You shouldn't have returned to the Lin family. Chapter 105. P.S. Thanks to Rain Misses You for awarding me with 1888 Qijin coins and becoming my second disciple. On the official road, someone came with a murderous look. Although Lin Fei had seen a lot of situations, the fact that someone tried to kill him in front of him with cold eyes showed that he was angry. Zhang family, Zhang Wanshan, you forced me to do this. For a long time, Lin Fei thought that he would defeat them and leave them with an unforgettable memory, so that they wouldn't dare to make a move in the future. In the end, Lin Fei found that he was wrong. At this time, he finally understood what it meant to be like in the pugilistic world. For example, now, he had obviously forgotten about the Zhang family, but the Zhang family tried to kill him openly, as if they were not afraid of others knowing. Lin Fei sighed softly. Since he came to this world, Lin Fei thought of himself as a member of the Xiantian continent, but he never thought of himself as a member of the Lin family. Now it seemed that no matter how he tried to avoid it, he couldn't erase this important point. Lin family, third young master, this identity. These 5 words seem simple, but Lin Fei was destined to be unable to get rid of it for the rest of his life. This time, Lin Fei's intention was very clear. It was nothing more than to deal with the various grievances left by the previous Lin Fei so that it wouldn't have any side effects on his training in the future. Once it was solved, Lin Fei would not stay in the Lin family, but would devote himself to crazily training. In the future, he would constantly train and become an expert. The Zhang family's interception was no less than a wake-up call for Lin Fei. He was a member of the Lin family. He was the third young master of the Lin family. With this identity, he was destined to not be leisurely, and this was the best proof. Zhang Guanlin and Zhang Guangfei were motionless, with a sneer on their lips and cold eyes, as if they could see Lin Fei die in their hands in the next breath. Zhang Wanshan, that guy, is taking this matter too seriously. He's only at the 7th heavenly layer of the martial path, yet he wants to stir up trouble in Gui Yuan City. I really don't know what the elders of the family are thinking. Zhang Guangfei raised his eyebrows. Who knows? The 2 of us are at least at the 7th layer of the heaven. If we encounter an enemy at the 8th layer of the martial path who isn't that powerful, we can easily kill them. Now, we have to deal with the 3rd young master of the Lin family who caused a storm in the past. This is simply making a mountain out of a molehill. These 2 were relatively famous disciples of the Zhang family, and they were brothers. They were telepathic, so they were able to attack at each other. Usually, when the 2 of them fought, very few people could stop them. Therefore, in the Shanna County, the 2 of them made quite a name for themselves and were called the Gui Yuan Duo. If it wasn't something important, the 2 of them would rarely make a move. They would usually bury themselves in cultivation. This time, in order to deal with Lin Fei, they had a bellyful of anger in their hearts. They felt that they were making a mountain out of a molehill. The Lin family's 3rd young master, who was at the 7th heaven of martial path, how powerful could he be? Most likely, Zhang Wanshan deliberately said so to show that he was powerful. If Zhang Wanshan knew about this, he would definitely vomit blood. I don't care if he's making a mountain out of a molehill or something else. Anyway, we don't need to do anything. Do you think the 3rd young master of the Lin family can deal with the people we brought? Zhang Guanlin, the elder brother, sneered. In order to intercept and kill Lin Fei, the Zhang family arranged for 10 experts at the 6th heaven of the martial Dao, plus 2 of them at the 7th heaven of the martial Dao. A strong lineup of 12 people was more than enough to kill Lin Fei at the 7th heaven of the martial Dao. Zhang Guangfei didn't say anything. He looked at Lin Fei on the black horse and agreed with his brother's words. 3rd young master Lin Fei would definitely die. Everyone, kill this brat. There will be many benefits if we kill him. I'll be the first to cut him down. Don't fight with me. For trash like him, 3 slashes will be enough. The 10 Zhang clan cultivators all masked their faces, afraid of being recognized. They raised their sabers and swords and surrounded Lin Fei, who was sitting on the black horse. The saber light and the sword light interweaved to form an inescapable net. If it was in the past, Lin Fei would probably feel a headache from such an attack. But the situation was different now. Kill! Lin Fei patted the black horse with one hand, and it immediately bounced up. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes, and a white light appeared before everyone's eyes. It was as piercing as the sun. Great 1,000 leaves saber art. Puff, puff, puff. If there was an expert present, he would definitely be able to see that Lin Fei had only slashed once, but in reality he had slashed out more than 10 times. It was like a cool breeze slashing across the necks of the Zhang family members one by one. It could be said that these people had a high status in the Zhang family. Even in death, they did not believe that they would die in the hands of the infamous Lin Fei. In the blink of an eye, Lin Fei's attack landed on the black horse. On the official road, the corpses were lying on the ground, their eyes wide open, as if expressing their unwillingness. Since when was the strength of the 6th level of the martial path so weak? Haha, it seems that your plan is going to fail. Lin Fei was still sitting on the black horse. He opened his mouth and took a bite of the wild fruit. It was fresh and juicy, and he lightly patted the black horse's head with a mischievous smile on his face. It was as if he had just done something insignificant. Lin Fei, how dare you? You actually dared to kill all of them. You are going against the Zhang clan. This time no one can save you. The Zhang brothers were instantly enraged. In less than 3 breaths, the Zhang family members were instantly killed by Lin Fei, which was beyond their imagination. They had imagined that Lin Fei's strength of the 7th level of the martial path must have been exaggerated, and it might have been increased by elixirs. Now, they couldn't help but take it seriously. 10 Zhang family members were dead and injured, and their realms weren't low. If they didn't handle this matter properly, they would lose face and wouldn't be able to go back and explain. Lin Fei took another bite of the wild fruit and laughed. Ha ha ha! Can I kill your Zhang family members? I, Lin Fei, am the 3rd young master of the Lin clan. I can kill whoever I want. It's just a few disciples of the Zhang clan. I'm going to kill all of you later. Arrogant. How dare you? The 2 brothers had never been looked down upon like this before, especially by the Lin clan's trash 3rd young master. This was tantamount to the Tai Sui Lord stirring up trouble. He was tired of living and wanted to kill them both. Did he really think he was the king of heaven? Big brother, let's attack together and kill this kid. Zhang Guangfei sneered. Okay, let's attack together. The 2 brothers didn't dare to take it lightly after killing a group of disciples. One from the front and one from the back, the 2 brothers instantly attacked. One used a sword, the other used a saber, and the saber and sword merged. Saber and sword chime. This was a combination attack of the 2 brothers. One attacked the front, and the other attacked the back, distracting the opponent. Both of them were powerful characters. Once they made a move, they were determined to kill Lin Fei, not giving Lin Fei a chance to fight back. Lin Fei took another bite of the wild fruit, and a lazy voice sounded again. Your cooperation is not bad, but it's a pity that your speed is too slow and full of flaws. So you can all die now. The 2 of them had never seen such an arrogant person. Although they weren't experts, a trash like Lin Fei dared to be arrogant in front of them. They swore to torture Lin Fei. However, just as they had this thought, a shocking scene appeared. Lin Fei slashed with a saber, and a white light slashed down from the sky. This attack. Chapter 106. I have already told you that I will send you down to accompany you. I will definitely send you down without any hesitation. Lin Fei shook his head and seriously bit on the wild fruit, causing the juice to splatter. He did not care about the corpses on the official road at all. The 2 brothers of the Zhang family were strong, and they had the magical ability of telepathy. Generally, if they met someone stronger than them, they would be able to fight against them if they joined forces. Unfortunately, they met Lin Fei. Lin Fei's experience in the Blackwater mountain range and the battles in the Divine Martial Gate had made him no longer a rookie in terms of combat experience. Their joint attack was very powerful, but their only flaw was their speed. Their joint attack, one from the front and one from the back, was their biggest flaw. Lin Fei might not be strong in other aspects, but he had the absolute advantage in speed. Thus, the 2 brothers of the Zhang family were unlucky and were killed by Lin Fei with a single blade. In fact, it was 5 blades in one, and its power was extraordinary. Even if they could see through it in the end, they still could not block the attack, killing the Zhang family members on the official road. Lin Fei first looted the spoils of war. Most of them were silver and gold, followed by saber art and sword manuals, although they were not very good. For Lin Fei, who was used to looting spoils of war, mosquito meat was still meat. He could not waste it and could not give it to others. A bunch of poor people, they only have so little on them. If the people underground knew about this, they would probably vomit blood. They came out to kill, not to bring anything. How could they have anything valuable on them? Speaking of which, Lin Fei's luck was not bad. After dealing with everyone, there was still no one on the official road. Those corpses were all buried by Lin Fei in the forest. As for when they were discovered, it had nothing to do with him. Anyway, no one would know. So what if the Zhang family knew? There was no evidence. After dealing with the corpses, Lin Fei once again leisurely went on the road. Zhang family, you wait and see. This matter is not over. Lin Fei looked at the sky, and a big face appeared in the sky after the interception on the official road. Lin Fei's nerves were still as thick as before as he leisurely moved forward. One day later, he finally entered the vicinity of Guiyuan Yuan City. Just as he stepped into the range of Guiyuan Yuan City, Lin Fei felt uncomfortable. There was a faint feeling lingering around his heart, making him feel very uncomfortable. F***CK. Could this be the legendary homesickness? Lin Fei felt uncomfortable for some reason. In the past, he didn't feel anything, but when he really entered the range of Guiyuan Yuan City, that feeling was suppressed. This was a feeling that he had never experienced before, causing Lin Fei to not know whether to laugh or cry. Lin Fei, haven't you always wished that you could return home in glory one day and let those who look down on you understand that you, Lin Fei, are not a good-for-nothing, not a playboy? I've helped you realize this wish today. As for the things that you've been longing for in the past, Sir System will help you complete them. Lin Fei muttered to himself. The phrase returning home in glory could barely be used. After nearly 5 years, it indeed had the taste of returning home in glory. It wasn't easy for me to come back. It seems that the Zhang family doesn't want me to have peace. But so what? No matter what you want, Sir System will accompany you to the end. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes, and he immediately returned to his previous lazy look. If an outsider looked at him, they would never think that Lin Fei had killed more than 10 people before this. Guiyuan Yuan City. Guiyuan Yuan City, Shanhe County, one of several cities. It wasn't considered strong, but it wasn't weak either. It was barely in the middle. In this Guiyuan Yuan City, there were 3 big families. One was the Lin family, the other was the Li family, and the last was the Zhang family. In addition, there was the Extreme Dojo. Guiyuan Yuan City, I'm back. When he saw the magnificent Guiyuan Yuan City, Lin Fei's memories gushed out like a tide. It was as if he was watching a movie. It was so unreal. Lin Fei stretched his body. His eyes were calm as he looked at Guiyuan Yuan City and said these words to himself in his heart. After 5 years, Lin Fei's appearance was very different from before. At this time, he was wearing a black robe. His delicate face was only a little thinner. Guiyuan Yuan City was just like what he remembered. At the entrance of the city, people came and went. It was very lively. From time to time, adventurers and mercenaries could be seen. It could be considered as a transit point. Little Black, let's go. Lin Fei patted the black horse. After paying a tael of silver, pulling the black horse, Lin Fei entered Guiyuan Yuan City, which he had not seen for 5 years. Although it was his first time here, the feeling he got from Guiyuan Yuan City was as if he grew up here. It was a very familiar feeling. After 5 years, Guiyuan Yuan City didn't change much. There were even many places that were expanded. It was even more magnificent than before. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry to go back. As a transmigrator, Lin Fei had a certain sense of resistance in his heart. If Lin Fei didn't feel anything in the divine martial sect, he could say this and that. But when he returned to Guiyuan Yuan City, there was a feeling of discomfort. As a person who had experienced it, he understood that it was caused by the Lin family. Lin Fei was resisting. Lin Fei was in a dilemma. Therefore, Lin Fei didn't plan to go back so early. He decided to walk around Guiyuan Yuan City and get used to the feeling so that he wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Of course, some people would ask, Lin Fei is a transmigrator. What's there to worry about? What's there to resist? But in fact, as a transmigrator, it was impossible for Lin Fei to adapt to this kind of environment. The previous Lin Fei, the next Lin Fei. 2 different memories, 2 different eras. This was the reason why Lin Fei made such a choice. Guiyuan Yuan City. Lin Fei first sold the black horse. The loss wasn't big, and he also did a small business on the road. Naturally, he didn't care about the silver. Leisurely walking out of the carriage, Lin Fei hummed a little tune, trying to adapt. In his previous life on Earth, Lin Fei was just a college student. In this life, in Xiantian continent, Lin Fei became the 3rd young master of the Lin family. Although his reputation wasn't very good, his status was completely different. In Earth's words, Lin Fei accidentally became a rich 2nd generation and became the 3rd young master. If he became a rich 2nd generation on Earth, Lin Fei could at least show off a little. But in Xiantian continent, being a rich 2nd generation was nothing, especially since the Lin family seemed to be on the decline and was no longer the rising sun. The situation was quite bad. As the 3rd young master of the Lin family, Lin Fei definitely didn't have a good life. Walking along the street, fortunately, Lin Fei hadn't returned for 5 years. His appearance had changed a lot, so no one noticed that the 3rd young master of the Lin family had returned to Guiyuan Yuan City. If he were to go out now, no one would recognize him. Chapter 107. P.S. Thanks to young Master Lin Xiaolei for the reward of 588 yuan, becoming an apprentice. The originally bustling street was filled with people. Along with the sound coming from afar, the people on the street subconsciously stood to the side, obviously recognizing the person. Lin Fei, as the former 3rd young master of the Lin family, naturally stood to the side. He was curious, when did someone in Guiyuan Yuan City have such guts? Could it be someone from one of the big families? After not coming back for 5 years, Guiyuan Yuan City can be said to be a new place, not to mention that Lin Fei is a fake. Do you expect a fake to know about Guiyuan Yuan City? That's impossible. Therefore, Lin Fei stood to the side. At the end of the street, a few tall horses approached from afar. Those tall horses are not ordinary mounts, but good horses worth more than 10,000 taels of silver. On the tall horses, there are a few young people dressed in bright clothes. All of them are handsome. At a glance, you can tell that they are the disciples of the big families. Unfortunately, Lin Fei can't recognize any of them. Those people seem to be in a hurry, swaggering through the street, not an ordinary kind of arrogant and despotic. Until after they left. Only then did Lin Fei return to the main street. He looked in their direction, thoughtfully, because just now they seemed to remember something. At the same time, on the street, a few words suddenly attracted Lin Fei's attention. With the strength of a martial artist at the 7th layer, it is not difficult for Lin Fei to know the conversation on the street. It's the Zhang family again, simply lawless. Seems like they are going for the Lin family shop. One of the middle-aged men seems to be used to it. Needless to say, the Zhang family has been looking for trouble with the Lin family for a long time. I heard that the Lin family hired an alchemist a few days ago. The Zhang family naturally will not sit and watch the development of the Lin family. Those people just now seem to be the young masters of the Zhang family. When the two were chatting, one of them suddenly interrupted. "Excuse me, those people just now are? Why are they randomly running on the street?" The person who interrupted is not someone else. It is Lin Fei. Lin Fei was smarter. He didn't directly ask them what they were doing. Instead, he asked them why they were riding horses on the streets. He changed the way he asked. The two of them looked over and saw a young man who seemed to be new. Naturally, they didn't pay much attention to him. nor did they know that he was the third young master of the Lin family from 5 years ago. "Little brother, are you a newcomer?" the middle-aged man asked. "Yes, I just arrived. They look very impressive, so I wanted to ask, who are they?" Lin Fei's performance was completely that of a rash young man. The middle-aged man had an "I understand" look on his face as he kindly reminded him, "Little brother, next time don't say such words. They are people that you cannot afford to offend. If you offend them, it would be difficult for you to even leave Gui Yuan City. They are all from the Zhang family. It's not a bad idea to listen to us. The people from the Zhang family are not to be trifled with. The next time you see them, it's best to stay as far away from them as possible." The other person had a look of lingering fear on his face when he mentioned this. He even secretly looked around as if he was afraid of being discovered. "Zhang family?" Lin Fei pretended to have a strange look, but what I heard outside is that the Lin family seems to be the most impressive in Gui Yuan City. When did it become the Zhang family's turn? They didn't doubt Lin Fei's words. However, they revealed a look of sorrow as if they were recalling something. "Hee, young man, you are mistaken. This is all ancient history. The Lin family is no longer the Lin family of the past. Now, they're just struggling at death's door." The middle-aged man opened his mouth. Lin Fei cupped his hands and said, "This little brother is a newcomer. The matter of the Lin family is just something that my friend told me last time. I really didn't know that it would be like this. Could it be that there is something behind this?" Lin Fei behaved like a newcomer, so they didn't doubt him at all. Actually, it's nothing much. It's nothing more than the sins of Lin Fei in the past. Fortunately, Lin Fei had a lot of experience. Otherwise, he would have been shot while lying down. What does this have to do with me? Wrong. It should be the matter of the previous Lin Fei. It has nothing to do with me at all. Who is Lin Fei? The two looked around and saw that no one was paying attention to them. Then they began to explain. "You are a newcomer, so Lin Fei definitely doesn't know. 5 years ago, the Lin family's third young master was so daring that he wanted to rape the daughter of the city lord. Although he did not succeed in the end, it still brought a lot of trouble to the Lin family. Later on, the Lin family experienced a lot of unforeseen events. Many experts were killed or injured. Adding on the incident with the city lord, the Lin family's position as the overlord was gradually pulled down. Lin Fei listened silently and sighed in his heart. He didn't expect that this matter was caused by him. Even though 5 years had passed and Lin Fei was an imposter, who asked him to be the imposter? The previous Lin Fei was done for, and the rest of the matters fell on the imposter. Lin Fei suddenly felt the pressure on him. Currently, Lin Fei couldn't accept the Lin family. He was willing to settle the trouble and then bury himself in cultivation. But the current situation made the Lin family know that they had unknowingly fallen into a storm. No wonder it's like this. It seems that Lin Fei isn't a good thing. Lin Fei said in a serious tone. Of course he isn't a good thing. If Lin Fei succeeded, it would be fine. But that trash couldn't even beat a girl. Later on, I heard that he was sent to the divine martial sect as an outer sect disciple. It seems that he hasn't returned for 5 years. Moreover, that Lin family's third young master was a playboy. When he arrived at the divine martial sect, he became a trash again. It seems that he hasn't reached the 4th heavenly layer of the martial Tao. Lin Fei didn't need to think to know that this news was spread by the Zhang and Li families. It was nothing more than to humiliate the Lin family. They wanted to tell the whole Gui Yuan City that the Lin family had a trash young master. He failed to rape the daughter of the city lord. It was a disgrace to men. If he couldn't cultivate martial arts, he would still be a trash after 5 years. Just because of this, Lin Fei's reputation in Gui Yuan City wasn't just ordinary bad. Then what were those people trying to do just now? Look at how anxious they were. Fortunately, Lin Fei's mental fortitude was good. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to control himself. Needless to say, they are definitely after the Lin family's medicine shop or the Lin family's weapon shop. If they don't make trouble every day, the Zhang family won't let it go. In addition, the city lord has turned a blind eye to it. The Lin family's days aren't going to be good. Especially after the 5 years competition. The Lin family probably won't be one of the 3 major families in Gui Yuan City. Those first and second-rate forces have long set their eyes on the Lin family's position. This time, the Lin family situation is really not good. Lin Fei's face slightly sank. He didn't expect that after 5 years, the situation would be like this. To be honest, Lin Fei didn't need to pay attention to this. But this time, when Lin Fei came back, he wanted to vent his anger. Halfway through, he was intercepted and killed. The Zhang family was once again remembered by others. Lin Fei understood a principle. A kind person would be bullied by others. Not to mention, he was the Lin family's 3rd young master. No matter what happened to the Lin family, he might not have a good ending. Chapter 108. P.S. Thank you, Peach Blossom One Brother, for the reward of 588 Qijin coins. After bidding farewell to the 2 martial artists, Lin Fei frowned slightly. Before he left, he remembered that they reminded him not to offend the Zhang family. From this, it could be seen how much they feared the Zhang family. No wonder they were the #1 family in Gui Yuan City. Of course, the city lord's mansion was not included. Because of this, no one dared to look down on the Zhang family and firmly sat on the #1 position in Gui Yuan City. I thought I could get rid of the shackles of fate, but now even the heavens are not helping me. Damn it, was I born a bad person in my previous life? Lin Fei laughed at himself. Looking at the blue sky above his head, he let out a long sigh. The Lin family was no longer the Lin family of the past. It was all because of him. The Zhang family was no longer the Zhang family of the past. Now, they were the overlord of Gui Yuan City. As the main culprit, Lin Fei, this imposter, was simply being shot without doing anything. Who would know about this? No matter what the future holds, his days would definitely not be good. Now that the Zhang family was killed by me, they will suspect me sooner or later. Fortunately, they do not have any concrete evidence. They will definitely not be able to swallow this anger. Maybe they will find me again. I have stepped into the whirlpool of the Lin family again. Gui Yuan City was divided into 4 districts, north, south, east, and west. The shop of the Lin family was located in the South City, which was considered as an ideal location. At this time, the South Street was usually bustling with people, but now it was silent. The street was filled with people. Some shook their heads, some sighed, some gloated, all kinds of expressions fell on the crowd. They seemed to be accustomed to the situation in front of them. What a sin, the Zhang family is too much. Some people could not stand it and shook their head with a face of pity. The Lin family lost its power. This is their own fault. What is there to be too much? I feel that it is too late. After this year's competition, the Lin family will no longer be one of the 3 major families. That's right. The Lin family has given birth to a prodigal son. It's been 5 years, and the Lin family's influence is not as great as before. If they are ousted from their position as one of the top 3 families, the Lin family is destined to disappear in the long river of history. It's a pity that the Lin family is in trouble. However, the Zhang clan has really gone too far this time. Last time it was the weapon shop, and this time it's the pill shop. I wonder what will happen in the future. The noisy group of people began to discuss in low voices. Obviously, they were very afraid of the Zhang family and did not dare to make a ruckus. When Lin Fei appeared, he happened to hear these words. His expression changed slightly, and he squeezed through the crowd outside. Get out! All of you, get out! The Lin family looked up and saw that the street was completely surrounded by people. On the street, there was a Lin family medicine shop. The entrance was in a mess, and many medicinal herbs were lying in front of the door. Obviously, something had happened. Then, a few people at the door were chased out. Lin Fei fixed his eyes on them and saw that they were the Zhang clan disciples who were riding on the street just now. However, he could not recognize any of them. All of them were not weak. They were either at the 5th or 6th heavenly layer of the martial path, and the highest one was at the 7th heavenly layer of the martial path. The Gui Yuan city was not as good as the divine martial sect. Their strength was at the 5th heavenly layer of the martial path, and their talent was not bad. Those people stood at the door and laughed proudly. Lin Feng, since when did your temper become so bad? Do you want me to help you clear the air? I guarantee that you will be able to escape to the end. Zhang Wansong laughed loudly. This generation of the Zhang clan's disciples were all from the Wan generation. Zhang Wansong, on the other hand, was a disciple with good strength. His position in the Zhang clan was not low, and his favorite thing to do was to cause trouble. Among them, he liked to target the Lin family the most. 5 years ago, they did not dare. 5 years later, they had no scruples. Brother Song is right. That brat Lin Feng must be out of breath. There will be a lot of benefits for him to relax. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng, you brat, get out here obediently. Let our brother Song help you clear the air. Don't be ungrateful. Get out here quickly. Impudent. With a roar, a burly man rushed out of the medicine shop with a face full of anger. His appearance was vaguely similar to Lin Fei's, but it was more burly and ferocious, exuding a masculine aura. Lin Feng stood at the door like a small mountain. The steady aura of a mountain made people not dare to ignore him. This was clearly a mysterious skill that cultivated the earth cultivation method. This Lin Feng was Lin Fei's second brother. After Lin Feng came out, a few shop assistants ran out behind him. Their faces were bruised and swollen. It was obvious that they had just been taught a lesson. Second brother, they are bad people, they are bad people. After the shop assistant came out, a little girl ran out. She was very cute with her pink cheeks. She hugged Lin Feng's thigh and pointed pitifully at the group of people in front of her. Lin Feng's furious face instantly melted a lot. Take little sister to the side. Lin Fei saw everything with his own eyes. When he saw the little girl, an inexplicable feeling appeared in his heart, as if they were connected by blood. It was a familiar feeling. Little sister? It can't be that after I left, my cheat mother gave birth to another one, right? It wasn't that Lin Fei hadn't seen beautiful little girls before, but the one in front of him was too beautiful. If she was put on the internet, it would be impossible for her not to go viral. She was the kind of cute little girl that could kill people. Unfortunately, this was the Xiantian continent. Even so, the beautiful little girl still attracted a lot of attention. Zhang Wansong, what is the meaning of this? If you don't give me an answer today, don't even think about leaving this place. Lin Feng took a step forward. Instantly, it was as if a heavy mountain was pressing down on him. Anyone with a discerning eye could see that this was a sign of anger. Zhang Wansong laughed, and scrupulously. You want me to give you an answer? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Lin family? I like to smash your shop until you don't dare to open your shop again. Bastard. Lin Feng was completely enraged. His fists were like stones, and he took a few steps forward. A mountain-like aura rumbled over, and his fists were aimed at Lin Feng's chest. Good timing. Zhang Wansong didn't care at all. Instead, he came forward with a smug smile on his face. 1,000 phantom palms. Although there were less than 1,000 palm shadows, there were at least a few dozen palm shadows. The crowd was dazzled by the sheer number of palm shadows. Bang, bang, bang. The shadows of the fists collided, and the wind from the fists turned into a storm, spreading out in an instant. The surrounding buildings cracked and cracked. Thump, thump, thump. Lin Feng was pushed back, leaving a few footprints on the hard bluestone before he stabilized himself. You learned a low-grade, yellow-class mysterious art. Lin Fei stared at Zhang Wansong and said with blood dripping down from the corner of his mouth. Everyone was shocked. The yellow-class mysterious art was actually so powerful. Zhang Wansong laughed. Haha, you only know now. Unfortunately, it's too late. Today, I will tell you that the second young master of the Lin family is nothing in my eyes. Just like your third brother, trash, real trash. I really bring shame to the Lin family. As his voice fell, Zhang Wansong's feet were like a spider's steps. He rushed up in one breath, and his whole body flew up. The 1,000 phantom palms fell again, and the momentum was even more powerful than before. Obviously, this time, Zhang Wansong wanted to seriously injure Lin Feng, the second young master of the Lin family. He directly ignored the existence of the Lin family. Lin Feng had been hit many times before, and his Xian Qi was chaotic. It was difficult to control it, and a flaw appeared in his hard defense. The yellow class mysterious art was not ordinary. This attack was more powerful than the previous one. Lin Feng's expression was dignified, and he was ready to take it head-on. Unexpectedly, a cold voice sounded in his ear, and a white light flashed in front of him. Chapter 109. Plop! Everyone watched as Zhang Wansong, who was about to deal with Lin Feng, was catapulted backward and fell to the ground with a thud. He rolled 360 degrees before he barely managed to stop. Zhang Wansong was sent flying by someone? This was the thought that echoed in everyone's mind. How was this possible? Who was so bold? In Guiyuan City, the strength of the 7th layer of the martial path could be said to be quite famous. Guiyuan City was a big city, but compared to the divine martial sect, the gap was not small. In the divine martial sect, this realm was at most not too outstanding. Just casually grabbing the crowd, it would immediately be a large area. Guiyuan City was a completely different story. The 7th layer of the martial path could become a small leader. Zhang Wansong was also a member of the Zhang family. Now that he was sent flying, the important thing was that they did not see clearly what happened. After a moment of surprise, everyone's eyes turned to one direction. There, a young man in black entered everyone's sight. Who was he? This became the question in everyone's mind. Big Brother is so powerful, even the bad guy was sent flying. The little loli did not know the danger just now. Instead, her eyes were filled with stars. Among them, the one who was most surprised was Lin Feng. Lin Feng was very clear about the current situation of the Lin family in Guiyuan City. It could be said that they were in a terrible situation, struggling at death's door. Similar things like this had happened many times, but no one dared to make a move. Originally, Lin Feng planned to fight with Zhang Wansong and not let this kid have an easy time. Who would have thought that an unexpected scene would appear? A young man in black helped. Did he not know how powerful the Zhang family was? When his eyes fell on the black-robed man, Lin Feng's brows suddenly wrinkled. His eyes were filled with surprise. Obviously, he was very shocked, because from that face, he could clearly see a familiar feeling. Shock appeared on his face, not waiting for Lin Feng to say anything. "Kid, you dare to make a move on me? You must be tired of living." Zhang Wansong crawled up from the ground with a ferocious look on his face. Today, he was sent flying in front of his face. He had lost all his face. "Go, catch this brat. I'll let him know the consequences of offending the Zhang family. Little rabbit, get down here for me. How dare you make a move against Brother Song? You're courting death. Quickly kowtow and admit your mistake. Maybe our Brother Song will leave you with an intact corpse." A few people instantly rushed up and waved their fists to attack. "Be careful," Lin Feng hurriedly reminded him. In his heart, he was greatly shocked. Could this black-robed man really be him? That person who had never dared to believe? A bunch of trash should be returned to the dumpster. All of you get lost. The person who attacked just now was naturally Lin Fei. Everyone's vision blurred again. The 6 people who had rushed over were sent flying like kites with their strings cut. When they landed on the ground, they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Their chests were all caved in. Clearly, they had been seriously injured by a single punch. Sniff, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. What kind of speed was needed to form this? These were all Marshal Dao sixth-layer Zhang clansmen, but they were all beaten to the ground in one move. Who was this black-clothed man? They had never seen anyone dare to attack the Zhang clansmen. The identity of the black-clothed man suddenly became mysterious. The people who were originally standing around instantly retreated, as if they had encountered a terrifying demon king. They could not wait to run far away, for fear of being caught in the crossfire of the city gate. Zhang Wansong's injuries were not heavy. There was a blade mark on his chest. If not for his inner armor, he would have been seriously injured. His clansmen were not strong, but in Gui Yuan City they could do whatever they wanted. But now, in the blink of an eye, his clansmen were beaten like flies. It was hard to accept. Who the hell are you? Do you know who you have offended? Zhang Wansong had some apprehensions. Just now he was sent flying with a blade, and his clansmen could not even block a single move. He immediately understood that this black-clothed man was not easy to deal with. He planned to first coax the other party. When the time comes, as long as this guy was still here, he would not be able to escape from the Zhang family. Lin Fei's figure did not move much. He suddenly appeared in front of Zhang Wansong. His 5 fingers were like eagle claws, grabbing the other party's neck and lifting him up in front of everyone. Shock and another shock. You. Who the hell are you? What are you doing? Zhang Wansong had no time to react and was directly lifted up. He immediately panicked. His strength was actually imprisoned, and he could not use any of it. No one thought that this person's movement technique was so powerful. Without any effort, Zhang Wansong fell into the hands of this black-clothed man. It looked as if it was as easy as catching a rabbit. The black-clothed man lifted Zhang Wansong with one hand. No one dared to move. In fact, in their hearts, they were very willing to see the Zhang family being beaten. If it was a place with no one around, they would not mind cheering loudly. They did not like the arrogance of the Zhang family. Now that someone was helping them, they were naturally happy. The feeling of strength is really good. Holding Zhang Wansong with one hand, Lin Fei was in a very good mood. This was the shock brought by strength. Even though he was only at the 7th firmament of the martial Dao, Lin Fei was not afraid of an expert at the 9th firmament of the martial Dao, unless they were very powerful. Do you really want to know who I am? Lin Fei raised his hand and slapped him twice. A few teeth flew out and fell to the ground. It was more dazzling than anything else. My teeth, you. Zhang Wansong instantly shut his mouth. The other party's slap was not far from him. He was a little afraid now. He thought to himself, little bastard, just you wait. When you fall into my hands, I will definitely knock all your teeth out. Lin Fei patted Zhang Wansong's face. Look, don't you think I look a little familiar? Zhang Wansong had not observed carefully before. Now that he heard that, his heart could not help but thump, and a good idea arose in his mind. With that said, Zhang Wansong looked at the black-clothed man. As the face appeared at first, it felt very ordinary, even delicate, but after a moment, Zhang Wansong's eyes widened as if he was frightened by something. As if he had seen a ghost, his hair stood on end and he pointed at Lin Fei. You are Lin Fei. Why are you back? The voice of fear could not be suppressed. Zhang Wansong's body trembled again. His originally struggling body seemed to stop because of something. Lin Fei. These 2 words spread like the wind. In an instant, everyone was dumbfounded, staring at the black-clothed Lin Fei. Chapter 110. On the entire street, almost everyone had the same expression. They were all shocked by the name of Lin Fei. Their faces subconsciously revealed incomprehensible doubts. Could he really be that playboy Lin Fei? Many of them were born later and had no influence on the great event left behind by Lin Fei. Who is Lin Fei? Is he a very famous guy? Someone couldn't help but ask. If it was 3 years ago, everyone would know this name. But after 5 years, this name was no different from a passerby. Do you know what happened 5 years ago? He is that Lin Fei. What? He is the prodigal Lin Fei? Are you guys mistaken? Isn't Lin Fei a waste? Zhang Wansong has the strength of the seventh heavenly layer of the martial path. How could he be caught like a chicken? There must be a mistake. Last time, I heard that Lin Fei's strength was only at the third heavenly layer of the martial path. You guys really don't believe me. Just now, I felt that he was familiar. Now that I heard Zhang Wansong say this, he really does have some familiarity with the Lin Fei from 5 years ago. He must be Lin Fei, there is no mistake. This time, there is a good show to watch. 5 years ago, Lin Fei made the entire Guiyuan city restless. 5 years later, I wonder what will happen when he comes back. Guiyuan city couldn't hide the most. Lin Fei's great achievements fell into everyone's heart one by one. Many of them did not dare to show a disdainful expression. This playboy, after 5 years, came back with not a low strength. As soon as he came back, he defeated the Zhang family's disciple. His whole body suddenly exuded a mysterious aura. After all, a few days ago, Lin Fei's strength seemed to be at the third heavenly layer of the martial path, but now, you guessed it, I am the waste Lin Fei that you spoke of. Unfortunately, there is no reward. A playful smile hung on Lin Fei's face as he spoke in a deep voice. His words were no less than a bombshell. Zhang Wansong's face alternated between green and white. Previously, he had shamelessly mocked Lin Fei, but in the end, in just a few rounds, he had fallen into Lin Fei's hands. Lin Fei, who he did not take seriously, was equivalent to being slapped in the face. The applause was loud and clear. Lin Fei, do you know what you are doing right now? Hurry up and put me down. Zhang Wansong squeezed out these words with great difficulty, but in fact, he had no confidence in his heart. With the strength of the seventh heavenly layer of the martial path, he could be considered as a small expert in Guiyuan city. But in the end, in the hands of Lin Fei, in less than a single move, he was like a chicken in the other party's hands, a fish on the chopping board. This disparity. As long as one wasn't an idiot, they would know what was going on. Pa, 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 pa. Zhang Wansong's eyes were wide open, and he was in a daze. Blood flowed down from the corner of his mouth and dyed his clothes red. He was a disciple of the Zhang clan. A fallen Lin family actually dared to beat up the Zhang family's people. This courage was really not ordinary. From the moment Lin Fei made his move until now, it was only a matter of a blink of an eye. Everyone was frightened by Lin Fei's ferocious expression. The Zhang family was like the sun at high noon in Guiyuan city, and almost no one dared to offend them. But now, the playboy Lin Fei, the moment he returned to Guiyuan city, he immediately beat up the Zhang family's people. Because of this impulse, it was no wonder that Lin Fei liked to cause trouble in the past. He was still the same as before, and he had never changed. Many people secretly sucked in a mouthful of air. For the time being, no one dared to do anything to Lin Fei. On the contrary, many old acquaintances were well aware of Lin Fei's temperament. In the past, he was already so fierce. Now that he had returned to Guiyuan city, he would definitely be the same as before. You! Lin Fei gave him another slap. Under the effect of the profound qi, Zhang Wansong's face had already become a pig's head, and his previous appearance could not be distinguished. Don't say anything to this father. You are just a small branch family disciple, and you dare to cause trouble here? You are really going against the heavens. Lin Fei sternly said. Fortunately, this father is in a good mood today. But since a branch family disciple like you dared to cause trouble, you should at least leave something behind, lest you don't forget it in the future. No. Zhang Wansong suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart, and he immediately opened his mouth to stop him. Lin Fei originally did not intend to make a move, but when he thought of the ambush on the road, he finally thought of a way. Fishing in troubled waters. Thus, everyone saw a shocking scene. The third young master of the Lin family actually grabbed Zhang Wansong's left arm and tore it outwards. everyone suddenly heard a miserable and painful sound. One of Zhang Wansong's arms was torn off by Lin Fei. When a martial artist's left arm was crippled, it was equivalent to being crippled, and his future achievements would be like this. Lin Fei's method was not ordinary cruel. Boom! Zhang Wansong was thrown out, and his blood dyed the blue stone red. You can get lost now. Zhang Wansong's face was pale, and the veins on his hands were bulging. He wanted to fight immediately. He knew that his generation was ruined, and the only thing he could do now was to go back and get reinforcements. Apart from this, there was no other way. Zhang Wansong came aggressively, and in the end he went back with a miserable arm. This was something no one could believe. Lin Fei was so cruel that he dared to cripple Zhang Wansong's left arm in front of everyone. It was equivalent to crippling the future of a martial Dao 7th layer expert. This was clearly not giving face to the Zhang family. In the past 5 years, this kind of provocation had never happened before. What are you looking at? All of you get lost. Lin Fei glared, looked around, and quietly released a vicious aura. Those people looked at each other. The Lin family had a cruel guy. How could they dare to stay? In less than a moment, the onlookers had disappeared without a trace. Even if there were still people watching, they were watching secretly. Such a big thing had happened, and they were afraid of getting into trouble. When Lin Fei turned around, he saw his second brother, whom he hadn't seen for 5 years. At this moment, his second brother was in extreme shock. There was surprise, doubt, happiness, and most of all, disbelief on his face. Second brother, long time no see. When these words rang in Lin Feng's ears, he only recovered from the shock. Are you really my third brother? In the past 5 years, Lin Feng still saw the familiar look on his third brother's face, but he didn't expect that this third brother of Lin Fei's was even more irritable than before. Back then, he dared to lay a hand on the city, Lord's daughter, and 5 years later, he came back and crippled the shoulder of the Zhang family's disciple in front of everyone. This change was too big. Lin Fei smiled and said, "Genuine goods at fair prices. My wife is not deceived." Third brother, second brother. After a pause, the two hugged each other. Of course, it wasn't Lin Fei who took the initiative, but Lin Feng, his second brother. Chapter 111. P.S. Thanks to Liang Xianpeng for the reward of 200 Qijian coins. Lin Feng was very surprised that his third brother, Lin Fei, came back. According to normal circumstances, Lin Feng did not think that his brother would come back. After the incident that year, he never came back for 5 years. There must be some problems with the family. Unexpectedly, he came back today and even crippled the Zhang family's people. Zhang Wansong was completely crippled. His strength was greatly reduced. He would be like this for the rest of his life. Lin Feng almost suspected that the person in front of him was the impulsive third brother. When did he become so fierce? Other than these, he was worried. After the two greeted each other, the two brothers walked into the medicine shop. At this moment, the medicine shop was in a mess. It was obviously left behind by those people. They come here often? Lin Fei could not help but ask. He understood that these things were left behind by him. If not for him, the Lin family would not be so weak. In the past, the Lin family was the strongest in Guiyuan City. Even if the Zhang family and the Li family joined forces, they would at most be tied. Now, the Lin family was not as good as before. In 5 years, the Lin family became like this. Without waiting for Lin Feng to answer, the cute little loli said, "Are you my big brother?" "Of course, I am your big brother." Lin Fei carried the little loli. The little loli was not nervous at all. On the contrary, she was very happy. She stretched out her chubby little hands. "Big brother, gift, gift." Lin Fei sweated in his heart. This little loli was too smart. Was she taught by that guy? The little loli's words made the atmosphere less tense. "Yan Yan, come down. Don't make trouble." Lin Feng did not know whether to laugh or cry. He explained, "Third brother, this is Lin Yan Yan, our little sister. She is usually spoiled. Don't mind her." Lin Fei shook his head and sighed. "It's okay. I didn't expect that in 5 years I would have a little sister. She is such a cute little sister." Although this was the first time they met, Lin Fei had different thoughts in his heart. Lin Feng left the medicine shop to the shop assistant to handle. Lin Feng wished he could bring Lin Fei, who had not returned home for 5 years, back home immediately. Even Lin Feng himself was incomparably shocked by the battle just now. Even though they were at the same level of strength, he was unable to block Zhang Wansong's attacks. However, his third brother had easily defeated Zhang Wansong and even crippled one of his arms. This was a big deal. Lin Feng's talent was average, and he did not like to practice martial arts. He liked to do business more, so his strength stopped at the 7th layer of the martial path. At this moment, Lin Feng was in a hurry to bring Lin Fei back home to discuss a countermeasure. Crippling a disciple of the Zhang clan, not to mention that he was one of the more famous members of the Side family, the Zhang clan would definitely not let the matter rest. Thus, it was only natural for them to make preparations in advance. "How are father and mother?" On the way, Lin Fei finally managed to squeeze out a sentence. Even though he had his memories, the closer he got to the Lin family, the more Lin Fei felt uneasy. Lin Feng glanced at Lin Fei. "I'm fine. I just miss you." Then Lin Fei fell silent. An hour later, the Lin family's residence appeared in front of him. Just like 5 years ago, there were 2 huge lions at the entrance, mighty and majestic, standing tall with their heads raised, guarding the Lin family. Other than the traces left behind by time, there was nothing else left on it. Familiar scenes kept surging out of his memory like a movie. What should come can never be avoided. After taking a deep breath, Lin Fei walked toward the entrance of the Lin family. "Greetings, second young master." "Greetings, second young master." The guards at the entrance greeted respectfully. They were a little curious as to who this person was, but they just couldn't recognize him. "Quickly go and report that the third young master is back." The 2 guards felt as though they were struck by lightning. They sneaked a glance and broke out in cold sweat. One of the guards immediately turned around and went in. "Second brother, there's no need to report." Lin Fei was not used to it. After all, he was an ordinary university student on Earth. The identity of the third young master could only be seen on TV or dreamt of. Apart from this, there was no other experience. After staying in the divine martial sect for a long time, Lin Fei was still not used to the Lin family in Guiyuan City. Lin Feng smiled. "Third brother, if you didn't appear, I don't know what would happen to the Zhang family. Crippling that kid's left arm, I think Lord Father won't be angry. Seeing your current achievements, he will definitely be very happy." Lin Fei smiled and didn't say anything. Lin Fei, the Lin family's third young master, had returned. This news immediately spread throughout the Lin family. As for what happened outside, they didn't know for the time being. As soon as Lin Fei returned, it immediately attracted a lot of topics, most of which were sarcasm. "It's been 5 years and that trash is back again. If it were me, I wouldn't have come back even if I was beaten to death. It's purely a disgrace to the Lin family. Isn't that obvious? Back then, Lin Fei caused a huge disaster. Otherwise, how could our Lin family become like this? It's all because of that guy, Lin Fei. Now he still has the cheek to come back. Shameless. Trash is trash. After a few years, his strength is still at the 3rd heavenly layer of the martial path. I think he should give up his position as the 3rd young master. We, the branch family disciples, are not worse than them." The Lin family was in a bad situation. These Lin family disciples were already full of anger. When they heard that Lin Fei had returned, they immediately found a place to vent their anger. They almost used Lin Fei as a punching bag. If it wasn't for Lin Fei's identity as the 3rd young master, they really wouldn't mind taking it out on Lin Fei. As for the Lin family disciples, when Lin Fei returned, They were naturally full of resentment. As for the deacons and elders, they thought that Lin Fei was trash and not worthy of their attention. After 5 years, they didn't care much about it. After 5 years, the impact of the incident back then had almost been forgotten, and they wouldn't say anything about it. Of course, it was certain that they didn't have a good impression of Lin Fei. If it wasn't for Lin Fei causing a huge disaster and being the third young master of the Lin family, he might have been abandoned by the family and become a sacrifice instead of an outer disciple of the divine martial sect. The Lin family's mansion occupied a very vast area. There were pavilions, rockeries, flowing rivers, and flocks of flowers and birds. It was completely an enlarged version of a mansion. Along the way, Lin Fei, the third young master, attracted the attention of countless people. Of course, the atmosphere was very bad. Where are we going? Lin Fei smiled bitterly in his heart. His third young master was indeed not very popular. It must be because of the incident back then. Let's go to the hall. Mother should be there. Lin Feng hesitated for a moment before saying something that made Lin Fei jump. Your fiancé is here. Lin Fei's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but speak. What? Fiancé? Why didn't I know about it? Chapter 112. P.S. Thanks to A Cup of Bitter Coffee 01, Book Friend 121 013 0036, Liang Xianpeng for the tip. Lin Fei, who had been walking forward, suddenly stopped as if he had slammed on a brake. He almost bumped into his second brother, who was walking in front of him. What a joke! When did I have a fiancé? Lin Fei was dumbfounded. How did he get a fiancé for no reason? This was too unbelievable. If this was said by someone else, Lin Fei would never believe it. But since it was said by his second brother, Lin Fei had to believe it. His second brother shouldn't lie to him. In his memory, the three brothers didn't fight endlessly like what the outside world said. On the contrary, they were very united. This was the reason why Lin Fei was willing to lend a helping hand. Without waiting for Lin Feng to speak, Lin Yanyan, who was in his arms, giggled. Big brother, that sister is like a fairy. She is very beautiful. Yanyan likes her very, very much. Lin Fei's forehead was suddenly full of black lines. When did little Lolis become so sensible? Lin Feng could feel the heavy murderous intent falling on him. He regretted saying this just now. He didn't mean to make himself uncomfortable. Since he said it, there was no way to change it. Especially now that he was being stared at with murderous intent. He felt uncomfortable all over. Third brother, don't be angry. Lin Feng hurriedly said, Listen to me slowly. The scene on the street made Lin Feng realize that his third brother had changed. With the keen perception of a martial artist, he could vaguely feel that his third brother was not simple anymore. Zhang Wansong, who was at the 7th level of the martial path, was easily defeated. Moreover, he cultivated a yellow-class mysterious art. Lin Feng might not even have the confidence to defeat him. But when it came to Lin Fei, it was like 2 fingers catching a snail. Lin Feng didn't dare to look at his third brother the same way he used to. Hearing Lin Feng's words, Zhang Xian nearly leaped up in fright. Unimaginable, unimaginable. Lin Fei couldn't say what a melodramatic plot was before. But after listening to his second brother, he understood what was really melodramatic. Even if he said it, no one would believe it. You're not lying to me, right? Lin Fei was full of doubts. His gaze was as if he was looking at a strange person. Lin Feng felt uneasy being stared at. Our Lin family is the #1 family in Gui Yuan City. Even the city lord has to give our Lin family some face. Do you think that in 5 years our Lin family can collapse so quickly? His words were filled with accusation and anger, directed at Lin Fei. Previously, Lin Fei had been wondering how the Lin family could collapse so quickly. The title of the #1 family wasn't just for show, but for real strength. Now that he thought about what he had just said, Lin Fei had no choice but to believe that his predecessor, Lin Fei, was really not a good person. He had caused such a big trouble for him. Who was his fiancée? No one would have guessed that it was the daughter of the city lord, Su Shuiyan. As for why she became his fiancée, it couldn't be simpler. It was because Su Shuiyan had said it herself. What did the words of the city lord's daughter mean? This was a question worth pondering. No one knew why it would be like this. The only thing that everyone knew was that the city lord flew into a rage. Everyone thought that there would be a storm, but the result was a shocking scene that everyone still couldn't understand. The city lord didn't deal with the Lin family as if nothing had happened. The word fiancé had been used on the daughter of the city lord until now. The reason for the decline of the Lin family was that the big and small powers were secretly targeting the Lin family. In addition, the city lord turned a blind eye to it, allowing people to see through the trick. It could be said that the word fiancé on top of Su Shuiyan's had played a big role. In 5 years, the Lin family suffered a great loss. The matter between Lin Fei and Su Shuiyan became the biggest fuse. If he had heard of a fiancé in the past, Lin Fei might have been very happy and excited. Unfortunately, at this time, Lin Fei couldn't be happy. Gui Yuan City looked calm on the surface, but anyone with a discerning eye would know that a storm was brewing and would descend mercilessly at any time. The center of the storm was the Lin family. Then I came back at the wrong time. Lin Fei laughed at himself. A few scenes flashed in the depths of his memory. Lin Feng didn't know how to answer this question. He patted Lin Fei's shoulder and said, 5 years ago, you were in the wrong. No one can help you. Now, you can only rely on yourself. Your second brother's meaning is very simple. You'd better woo Beauty Sue. That would be the best. Lin Feng originally thought that his second brother would come up with a good idea, but it turned out to be such a cliché. He rolled his eyes and said, go ahead. I'll cheer for you. To be honest, it would be strange if Lin Fei wasn't surprised that he had a fiancé. Killing someone. Lin Fei could do it without a frown. But to deal with a fiancé, even if it wasn't a real fiancé, Su Shuiyan had always considered herself to be one for the past 5 years. Now, she was meeting his mother in the hall. This was an unimaginable matter. Those who didn't know the truth would think that Lin Fei was ungrateful and had a bad reputation. Only Lin Fei felt wronged in his heart. Since he was an imposter, all sorts of cliché things were happening to him. Unfortunately, Lin Fei couldn't say it out loud. In the end, Lin Fei was dragged away by Lin Feng. In Lin Feng's words, if this conflict was resolved, perhaps the Lin family would have a chance to make a comeback. Gui Yuan City belonged to Shanhe County. The city lord had the highest authority. If the city lord opened his mouth, no one would dare to make a move. As long as the Lin family was given time to recuperate, they would recover their strength in a few years. But now, the city lord didn't open his mouth. Those people couldn't wait to drag the Lin family down. If the city lord was happy, there might be many benefits. Along the way, Lin Fei frowned. Unknowingly, when he heard the word fiancé, Lin Fei immediately thought of a person. A woman dressed in white, a woman named Qing Er. Could it be that I like that violent beauty? Lin Fei said to himself for no reason. Unknowingly, they arrived at the hall of the Lin family. When the guards standing outside saw the black-robed Lin Fei, they couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression. Following that was a trace of contempt. They didn't put Lin Fei, the third young master, in their eyes at all. Just when Lin Fei regained his senses, 2 figures, one red and one purple, appeared in front of him. In a blur, a red figure came like the wind. Chapter 113. Before Lin Fei could react, he was hugged. Cheap mother? As an orphan, Lin Fei had never known what it felt like to have a mother. After returning from the divine martial gate, Lin Fei thought that he could ignore everything. When the red-robed woman hugged him, he felt a sense of kinship with her. It was a strange and complicated feeling that could not be explained. Could it be a mother's love? This process did not take long. For Lin Fei, this was something he had never felt before. After struggling, the beautiful woman entered Lin Fei's field of vision. The beautiful woman was in her 30s. She was dressed in red, but she did not look delicate. On the contrary, she looked very noble. Even Lin Fei had to praise her. 9 inches the Xiantian continent. Once a martial artist began to train, regardless of gender, they would theoretically be able to slow down their aging process. After all, a martial artist who had reached the 9th heavenly stage could live for over 100 years. Of course, 200 years was an impossible thing. This was the difference between the Houtian and Xiantian levels. There was also a difference in lifespan. As a warrior, it was normal for Lin Fei's mother to look young. Lin Fei could not get used to the appearance of his cheap mother. After all, he had no parents before. Suddenly, a mother appeared. Lin Fei could not get used to it. It was not that he was showing off, but it was really hard to get used to it. At this time, if he did not speak, he might be suspected. Lin Fei did not dare to treat the people of this world as ancient people who did not know anything. Don't forget, they were warriors. Warriors had the most sensitive senses. Mother. Lin Fei called out sensibly. His voice was somewhat stiff. Fortunately, no one cared about this at this time. After 5 years, anyone would have changed. Lin Fei's current change couldn't be any more normal. As a mother, Lu Qing did not care. Hearing that her son was back, she was happier than anyone else. If there were not others present, she would have asked about his well-being, afraid that her son would have suffered in the divine martial gate. It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Ever since that incident 5 years ago, her youngest son had not returned home for the next 5 years. Lu Qing had even thought that her youngest son might not return this year. In fact, from the bottom of her heart, she did not want her son to return. The matter from back then had not been truly resolved. It had continued until now. Auntie, I have something to do. I'll be leaving first. The purple-clothed woman who hadn't spoken this entire time had an outstanding appearance. Although she wasn't as pure as ice and as pure as jade, she was still a beauty that could captivate even birds and beasts. Her skin was fair and clear, and she had bright eyebrows and white teeth. At this moment, there was a hint of disdain in her eyes, but that didn't stop her from being beautiful. The purple-clothed woman was none other than Su Shuiyan, the daughter of the city lord. When the woman in purple spoke, Lin Fei subconsciously looked over. It had to be said that the previous Lin Fei had good taste. Su Shuiyan was a beauty through and through. There were quite a few female disciples in the divine martial school, but those who could match up to Su Shuiyan were few and far between. Lin Fei also understood that in the face of such a beauty as a playboy, it was impossible for him to control himself. What a cold and elegant feeling. This was Lin Fei's second thought. Lu Qing didn't wish for Su Shuiyan to leave. Given the current situation, she couldn't open her mouth. All she could do was silently watch Su Shuiyan leave. It definitely wasn't a good thing for the two of them to meet again after what had happened in the past. It was awkward, and if anything were to happen, it would be like adding hail to snow for the Lin family. When Su Shuiyan walked past, her gaze towards Lin Fei flickered slightly, as though something unexpected had happened. This fluctuation disappeared in the blink of an eye, and no one noticed it. Moreover, the atmosphere was a little cold, and no one dared to pay attention to it. After sending Su Shuiyan off, Lin Fei once again experienced what true maternal love was. As a mother, Lu Qing practically sized up Lin Fei from head to toe. When she learned that her son's strength had reached the 7th tier of the martial path, she cried tears of joy. Her son had finally made a name for himself. Lin Fei was a very casual person. He didn't dare to speak carelessly when he returned to the Lin family. Therefore, in the eyes of outsiders, he seemed a little introverted. No one suspected anything. It wasn't strange for him to develop such a character after 5 years in the sect. Furthermore, when Lin Fei returned to Guiyuan City, the news of him crippling the left arm of a branch family disciple of the Zhang family on the street was like a spring breeze blowing across the land. It immediately spread like wildfire. 5 years ago, Lin Fei did something that shook Guiyuan City and changed the current structure of the city. 5 years later, Lin Fei also did something big. He crippled the left arm of a branch family disciple of the Zhang family in a few moves, changing the structure of Guiyuan City once again. Back then, there were rumors that Lin Fei was a cultivation waste. Crippling Zhang Wansong this time was no different than telling everyone that the rumors might not be credible. The incident on the street was undoubtedly a fuse for Guiyuan City. Everyone knew that the disturbance caused by Lin Fei would have a huge impact on the Lin family. Everyone was now waiting to see how the Lin family would deal with Lin Fei, as well as what the Zhang family would do. Everyone was looking forward to the next clash. On the night of Lin Fei's return, he enjoyed a delicious meal and selfless care. As for his cheap father, Lin Fei had yet to meet him. Early the next morning, Lin Fei got up from his residence and practiced the 8 Desolation Fist in the small courtyard. After half an hour, he stopped and was drenched in sweat. He went back to wash up before coming out of the small courtyard. When he came out of the small courtyard, a maid dressed in green, about 15 or 16 years old, was nervously standing at the entrance of the small courtyard. When Lin Fei came out, she walked over with small steps. "Young master, good morning." "Why, is your young master very scary? By the way, what's your name?" Although Lin Fei had never used a maid before, he had seen her on television. He had to admit that this maid was very beautiful. It wouldn't be a problem for her to be the campus belle outside. At such a young age, her body had already started to develop, and she was a standard cute Lolita. If not for the fact that he was the 3rd young master, Lin Fei really wanted to have a good chat with her about Lolitas. Replying to young master, "My name is Qing Wan." Qing Wan didn't dare to look at the 3rd young master's eyes. Originally, Qing Wan had always been the personal maid of the matriarch, Lu Qing. In the end, she was arranged to take care of the 3rd young master's daily life this morning. Although this was the first time she met the 3rd young master of the Lin family, she had heard from others in the past. This 3rd young master Lin Fei was immediately labeled as a playboy, a big bad wolf who specialized in eating Little Red Riding Hood. If Lin Fei knew, he would probably be full of black lines. "That's a good name. Are you my personal maid?" In the past, Lin Fei had studied Lolitas before, so he couldn't help but tease her a little. Lolitas had 3 good points: soft voice, soft body, and easy to push down. Men's favorite. Naturally, Lin Fei liked it very much. Fortunately, Lin Fei wasn't a pervert. At most, he only used his eyes to take advantage of her. As for touching her, that was what lowly people would do. Qing Wan felt weak from being stared at, especially those words. She blushed and lowered her head. "Young master, matriarch is waiting for young master to eat. Please follow me. Lead the way." Although Lin Fei said so, he was puzzled in his heart. He wasn't considered savage. On the contrary, he was very delicate and pretty, and his affinity shouldn't be bad. Why did this maid look like she saw a tiger when she saw him? Chapter 114. What was the 3rd young master of the Lin family? Lin Fei finally experienced it for the first time. It turned out that, as a young master, there was no lack of personal maids that he could flirt with. Since his transmigration, it had only been a short 3 months. Lin Fei was under a lot of pressure. Now that he finally had a chance to release it, how could he miss it? Most importantly, teasing a lowly gave him a sense of accomplishment, especially since the lowly was so pleasing to the eye. If he didn't tease her, he wouldn't be able to live up to God's arrangement. No, it should be Mom's arrangement. In the past, Lin Fei had chased after countless girls. Flirting with beautiful Lolis was a piece of cake for him. A cute joke came out, making the lowly Qing Wan giggle. It was hard for Qing Wan not to laugh. She had never thought that her 3rd young master was so humorous. However, it was not easy to get rid of the previous label, so she had to be more vigilant in her heart. If Lin Fei knew about this, he would probably be speechless. Lolita's vigilance might not be too high. If the big bad wolf had such a smart little Red Riding Hood, his efforts would have been in vain. To eat, they had to pass by the Lin family's martial arts arena. Any place, and any family would have such a place. Third young master, the martial arts practice field is in front. Should we take another path? Qing Wan asked carefully. As Lu Qing's personal maidservant, even though she was unwilling to become the maidservant of a playboy like Lin Fei, she didn't dare to go against the mistress's arrangements. Thus, she couldn't help but remind Lu Qing. Lin Fei's mouth curved into a smile. Qing Wan, do you think young master is no match for them? Or, actually, even without Qing Wan saying it, Lin Fei already understood that his reputation as trash had long been left in the hearts of the Lin family disciples. He was a playboy, a pervert, a trash. No. Qing Wan became nervous and shook her head repeatedly. Lin Fei couldn't help but laugh. He stretched his body and said, since that's not the case, why should we change our route? I also want to see if they have improved over the years. Qing Wan suspected that she had heard wrongly. As a maid, even if she had doubts, she would hide them in her heart. Lin family martial arts arena. Early in the morning, groups of 3 to 5 Lin family disciples gathered at the training grounds. Some were practicing fist techniques, while others were practicing palm techniques, saber techniques, and sword techniques. It was a lively scene. The originally lively scene was broken with the arrival of Lin Fei. Lin Fei is here. Just by saying that Lin Fei was here, it could be seen that they didn't like the third young master of the Lin family. In a clan, the struggle between the main branch and the branch family would always exist. It was impossible for it to disappear. If it wasn't the main branch holding power, then it was the branch family that produced a genius disciple that led the entire branch family. If a branch family disciple was more powerful than a direct descendant disciple, the prestige of the branch family would also increase imperceptibly. There were still many conflicts between the branch families and the direct descendants. Oh, isn't this Sister Qing Wan? You've become prettier again. Lin Fei brought the blue wand in and was directly ignored. On the contrary, the blue wand became the focus of everyone's attention. The blue wand was nervous. With good upbringing, she nodded her head one by one. Lin Fei wasn't here to act cool, he was just passing by. It was best if they didn't come out to cause trouble. But once they jumped out to cause trouble, Lin Fei didn't mind teaching them a lesson. Whatever Lin Fei wanted, it really happened. Just as they were about to leave the training grounds, a burly young man with a bare upper body directly blocked in front of them. Qing Wan, you became his maid. The burly young man jumped out, and the training grounds quietened down. Then there were low voices of discussion. There's a good show now. I was wondering who it would be. So it's Lin Tian from the branch family. I heard that he liked the blue wand a long time ago. I know this. The blue wand is the personal maid of the mistress, and Lin Tian is an outstanding disciple of the branch family. It is said that he is about to enter the 8th heavenly layer of the martial Tao. It seems that once he enters the 8th heavenly layer of the martial Tao, he will propose to the mistress to marry the blue wand. Lin Fei has poked the hornet's nest. Lin Tian is famous for his bad temper, and the blue wand has become the maid of this playboy. Who knows what will happen? I was just wondering why Lin Tian's expression wasn't good, so it was because of this. Have you guys heard? It is said that our third young master's strength has also reached the 7th heavenly layer of the martial Tao, and that Zhang Wansongai's left arm was crippled. TSK, you can even believe that? Lin Fei is a cultivation waste. Do you think that's true? Maybe it was done by second young master Lin Feng. And after that, Lin Fei stood up. You guys know? The sound of discussion quietly rang out. F***CK, he hooked up with my maid right in front of me. Lin Fei didn't think that such a melodramatic thing would appear in front of him. Of course, Lin Fei wouldn't be so kind as to complete a fairy tale. Lin Fei was petty, especially when it came to his own people. Blue Wan, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and lead the way. This young master is hungry. Lin Tian frowned. His sharp gaze landed on Lin Fei. He didn't treat Lin Fei as the third young master, and fiercely said, Lin Fei, I know that you are a playboy, but the blue Luan isn't someone you can touch. I advise you to let the blue Luan leave immediately, or else don't blame me for being impolite. A branch family disciple threatened the Lin family's third young master. Lin Fei felt that this was the most ridiculous joke. He, the third young master of the Lin family, was too worthless. Even a branch family disciple dared to threaten him. It seemed that his position in the Lin family was too low. Even a branch family disciple didn't put him in their eyes. Lin Fei smiled. Everyone was surprised. Could it be that Lin Fei was afraid? Do you know who you are talking to? Blue Luan is my personal maid. Who do you think you are to threaten this young master? Kneel down and apologize. Lin Fei raised his eyebrows and said coldly. Lin Tian was like a volcano erupting with a single spark. He shouted, You dare to ask me to apologize? It seems that you care too much about your identity as the third young master. I heard that third young master displayed his prowess yesterday and crippled Zhang Wansong's left arm. Today, I would like to seek third young master's guidance. Although he had a bad temper, it didn't mean that he wasn't calculative. Lin Tian was the same. Is that so? Lin Fei frowned again. Then you can kneel down and apologize now. Arrogant. The moment Lin Tian's voice landed, his vision blurred. Lin Fei, who was 2 feet away, had unknowingly appeared in front of him. His 5 fingers were like mountains pressing down from the sky. What's the use of being fast? Raging Bull's horn. Lin Jintian sneered and punched out with both fists. His aura was like that of a raging bull, with 2 horns on his head, wanting to push Lin Fei down. This was one of the moves of the Raging Bull fist art. It was also an extremely powerful move. Lin Tian had a burly body and cultivated the Raging Bull fist art, making it even more powerful. Down. His 5 fingers were like mountains pressing down. Lin Tian felt a sharp pain from his fists, and his hands drooped down powerlessly. A divine power like a towering mountain surged down, and his body uncontrollably knelt down, as if there was a mountain on his body. Xian Qi circulated throughout his body, but he still couldn't resist the pressure of the mountain. Plop! In front of everyone, Lin Tian knelt on the ground with a rumbling sound. The sturdy limestone gave off a crisp sound as cracks appeared on it. Chapter 115. Silence. The martial field was silent, leaving behind only the sound of people sucking in cold breaths, as well as Lin Tian, who was kneeling on the ground, panting with a pained expression. No one had expected such an ending. No matter who it was, no one had a good impression of Lin Fei. Even if they heard about what happened yesterday, the greatest credit was still in Lin Feng's hands. As for Lin Fei, he was just an impostor. What real ability could he have? Lin Tian used the method of teaching to make Lin Fei suffer. No one had any suspicions, and it was another honorable excuse. One was an outstanding disciple of the branch family. The other was a cripple who had cultivated for many years. The gap between the two was like a chasm that could not be crossed. Brother, tell me, did I see wrongly? How could Lin Tian lose? Fuck, who said that Lin Fei was a cripple? The aura just now was clearly at the 7th layer of the martial path. I almost wanted to go up and humiliate Lin Fei. My God, luckily I didn't go up or I would be in trouble. The third young master is so strong. Last time, Lin Tian also easily defeated an opponent of the same level, but it seems that the third young master is even stronger than Lin Tian. Did you see that? The attack just now was too ordinary, but it suppressed Lin Tian. We can't easily offend Lin Fei in the future. It seems that the third young master was the one who did it yesterday. Good move. The Zhang clan should be taught a lesson. Lin Fei stood next to Lin Tian, one hand pressing on his head. After consuming the fruit, his divine strength was shocking. pressing like this was no less than a mountain. If he didn't control his strength, he could directly crush Lin Tian to death. Divine strength didn't have much power when it was weak. Once one's strength increased, the divine strength in their body would be indescribable. For example, right now, he could use his strength to suppress others, making them unable to retaliate. Seeing that we're both disciples of the same clan, I'll let you off this time. If there's a next time, you'll understand. Lin Fei couldn't be bothered to continue lecturing him, so he turned and left. Lin Tian's body arched, and he directly fell to the ground. It was as if he had been fished out of water, and he couldn't move at all. Anyone else would be in the same situation as Lin Tian. If Lin Tian hadn't jumped out, Lin Fei wouldn't have bothered to make a move. After suppressing Lin Tian, Lin Fei realized that there was unknowingly fear in those people's eyes. This was clearly what Lin Fei wanted. Lin Fei wasn't the previous Lin Fei. Since he was going to be a young master, he had to be a good one. At least, there wouldn't be all kinds of flies buzzing around him. Everything was quiet now. If they were smart, they would know what to say and what not to say. Lin Fei's move to suppress Lin Tian was even more impressive than directly defeating Lin Tian. Qing Wan's personal maidservant was dumbfounded. She, who had always been by her mistress's side, knew quite a lot about the playboy Lin Fei. In terms of cultivation, she had always been mediocre and terrible. Young master, he's so strong. At the dining area, Lin Fei saw his cheat mother, second brother, and little sister. As for his big brother and father, they still hadn't returned. Mother, second brother. After sitting down, Lin Fei's table was filled with delicacies. Naturally, he didn't stand on ceremony and started eating. Little Fei, eat slowly. Don't be anxious. Lu Qing's eyes were filled with love. She treated her son the same as 5 years ago, but now she felt that he was a different person. Especially after what happened just now, Lu Qing knew that her son had grown up and was no longer the rash son from before. She didn't need to worry about him anymore. Lin Fei enjoyed this feeling. It was as if he had experienced something called happiness. This was something he had never experienced before. After the meal, "You haven't been back for a few years. Take a good rest. You don't need to worry about the matters of the family." Lu Qing stood up and said to Lin Fei lovingly. Lin Fei nodded. "Okay." Lin Fei didn't take his cheat mother's words seriously. Although he wasn't clear about the difficulties of the Lin family, he could still see it from certain aspects. When Lu Qing walked to the door, she left another sentence. "The people from the side branch are too outrageous. You taught them a good lesson." Lin Fei was slightly stunned. Those who could become the mistress of a family weren't simple people. She knew about the matter at the martial arts field in such a short time. She was very well informed. Third brother, mother is right. The people from the side branch should be taught a good lesson. You are the third young master. Since they dared to be impudent, you should teach them a good lesson. Lin Feng changed the topic. "I didn't expect you to be so strong now. Even I, as your second brother, am not your opponent." In the morning, when he heard that Lin Fei made the disciples of the side branch kneel in front of everyone, Lin Feng knew that his third brother wasn't as good-tempered as he looked and was as impulsive as he used to be. But then again, Lin Fei's actions today had changed his disciples' view of him. "It wasn't easy for you to come back this time. Go out and have a good walk. As for what happened yesterday, the Zhang family won't dare to do anything now. You can rest assured." "I got it." Although Lin Fei said so, he could still see the worry in Lin Feng's voice. Ever since he came back, Lin Fei knew that the Lin family wasn't in a good situation. If he couldn't even see this, there was no need for Lin Fei to continue living in the Lin family. Just because they didn't say it didn't mean that Lin Fei couldn't see it. Lin Fei felt that he had to do something. Before returning home, Lin Fei really didn't want to get involved in these matters. But when he returned home, Lin Fei realized that he was wrong. His previous thoughts were just wishful thinking. There were many disputes in the pugilistic world. Now, he had to solve these matters completely. After not coming back for 5 years, Lin Fei was ready to go out and understand the situation. In the eyes of Lin Fei's mother, Lin Fei knew that he was a child who hadn't grown up. Just as he was about to go out, Qing Wan ran in from the outside. "Young master, someone outside is looking for you." "Looking for me?" Lin Fei wondered. In his memory, he didn't seem to have any friends in Yuan City except for those scoundrels. Could it be that the Zhang family was looking for him? Lin Fei thought about it and felt that it was unlikely, but he couldn't remember who the person outside was. "Yeah." Qing Wan nodded. "He said he's your friend, a good friend." Lin Fei was even more puzzled. He was alone. When did he have a good friend? After thinking about it, he decided to go out and meet them. Anyway, he had nothing to do when he came back. He couldn't be a homebody. This wasn't Lin Fei's way of doing things. If he had the internet, that would be another matter. Chapter 116. P.S. Thank you, Liang Xianpeng, for your Qijin coins. Congratulations on becoming a disciple. I'm back. The update will start to stabilize. Thank you for your support. Outside the gate of the Lin family. Although the Lin family is not as good as it used to be, there are very few people who dare to behave atrociously in the Lin family. There are even fewer people who dare to stand in front of the Lin family's mansion. It seems very deserted. F***ck, that bastard Lin Fei. Did he forget about me? Under the guardian lion, there is a fat man who is as heavy as a hill. He is wearing a silk and satin dress. It seems that the silk will burst in the next moment, revealing the constantly shaking fat. This person is Lin Fei's good friend, Luo Tian, the third young master of the Brothers Gang in Yuan City. The Brothers Gang is not bad in Yuan City. Although it can compete with the 3 big families, the Extreme Martial Arts School is still a force in Yuan City. It is quite famous. Luo Tian looked around and looked disappointed. A man and a woman appeared at the gate. The man is delicate like a scholar, and the woman is small and cute. Her chubby body seems to be injected with infinite strength in an instant. Her small eyes squinted and kept falling on the girl in green clothes. "Lin Fei, you are finally willing to come back." Lin Fei, who is standing at the door, is wondering who is his good friend. Suddenly, behind the guardian lion, a fat man jumped out. Lin Fei dares to say that this fat man is at least 300 pounds. He is like a mountain. It seems that every time he steps, the blue stone on the ground will be crushed. Damn, he is my friend. Lin Fei looked at the green phoenix. That hidden consciousness. Could it be that you got the wrong person? Qing Wan nodded innocently. "Young master, he is really your friend." Stop. The other party clearly wants to hug. Lin Fei quickly made a stop movement, for fear that the fat man will press on him. Master doesn't like this kind of foreign greeting. Fortunately, this was the case. Otherwise, Lin Fei would definitely have had an intimate contact with her. Luo Tian finally managed to stop himself and raised his eyebrows. "Lin Fei, what kind of look is that? Lord Fatty is your childhood friend. Don't tell me you don't know me." In fact, at this time, scenes kept appearing in Lin Fei's memory. It was him and this fatty drinking wine together, flirting with girls when they had nothing to do. How carefree their days were. As a result, they became the 2 pests of Yuan City. 5 years passed in the blink of an eye. Fatty Luo hadn't changed much. Instead, he had become even more burly. His small, mountain-like body was enough to crush anyone who refused to submit to him. Fatty Luo, Lin Chonglong. The 2 of them didn't hug each other like the others did. Lin Fei had already moved away. On the street, the 2 pests gathered together again and talked about the changes in the past 5 years. "You damn fatty, don't call me Lin Chonglong, okay?" Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The previous Lin Fei actually left such an elegant nickname. He didn't know what to say. Fortunately, in the past 5 years, no one knows this nickname anymore. Right, right? You are a genius now. Don't look down on this Lord Fatty. Although Luo Tian's body looked fat, he didn't have any problems walking. His strength had also reached the 5th level of the martial path. He laughed and said without any anger, when Lin Fei returned to Gui Yuan City, he didn't really check his memories. It wasn't until Fatty Luo appeared that he started to have real memories. The sense of familiarity with Gui Yuan City gradually increased. What are you talking about? Don't you think that Lin Chonglong's name is so bad? It's not like your Lord Fatty's name. It's so awe-inspiring. It's like a jade tree in the wind. Any girl would fall in love with it with just one look. In Lin Fei's memory, Luo Tian was a playboy who loved to hook up with girls. Luo Tian laughed out loud, revealing a lascivious smile. He patted Lin Fei's shoulder. It's been 5 years. You know me, this Lord Fatty. Today, this Lord Fatty will welcome you back. You didn't say a word and left for 5 years. This Lord Fatty can't even find a few friends. We're here. Luo Tian chuckled and pointed at the pavilion of fragrances behind him. This was opened after you left. The beauties inside are as many as the clouds. You must have been suppressing your anger in the sect. This fat lord has prepared all kinds of beauties for you. I guarantee that you will be satisfied. After saying that, he threw a you-know-what look. Since he was here, Lin Fei didn't plan to leave. Not to mention, in Gui Yuan City, Luo Tian was probably the only friend. The interior of the fragrance house was luxurious and beautiful. Fragrances lingered in the air. Just as the two of them entered the fragrance house, a few girls came up to welcome them. One of them was Madame Sang. She was over 30 years old, but she was still beautiful. The moment she came up, she pulled Luo Tian's hand. Her fragrance assailed his nostrils, and she winked at him. Yo, Lord Fatty, what wind blew you here? You haven't been here for a long time. Luo Tian slapped his buttocks. Today, I'm holding a welcoming party for my friend. Hurry up and bring me a table of good wine and teach a good girl. Don't hide anything. My friend will be happy. I've already agreed to your request last time. The beautiful woman giggled like a hen. This Lord Fatty can rest assured. All the good girls are here today. I guarantee that your friend will not be disappointed. Girls, the guests are here. Quickly come out. Just as the voice faded, 2 girls appeared from both sides. Their fragrances assaulted him. They were all dressed in sexy attire. Before Lin Fei could react, he was surrounded by a few girls. Each of them had good looks. They had big breasts and perky buttocks. Pest, how is it? This Lord Fatty's eyesight is not bad, right? The 2 of them chose a private room on the 2nd floor. Although the weather outside was hot, the room was filled with fragrances. Lin Fei, this impostor, finally experienced what it felt like to have a beauty in his arms. After a table of wine was served, the atmosphere in the private room was not ordinary. Lin Fei could not find the feeling in the depths of his memories. Cup after cup of wine, the 2 of them seemed to have returned to the days when they drank and sang. In the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed. With a beauty in his arms and wine in his mouth, Lin Fei felt that he had fallen in love with this kind of feeling. Pest, you haven't been here for 5 years. Those bastards have become so arrogant. They don't even put this Lord Fatty in their eyes. Don't you think it's infuriating? They even talked about that matter in the past, Bang. Before Luo Tian could finish his words, the door of the private room was pushed open. Madame Mulberry's voice could be heard. Don't come in. There's someone inside. The beautiful woman was obviously unable to stop them. After the private room was pushed open, a few young men appeared at the door. Each of them had an overbearing aura as if they were the king. I was wondering who was here. So it's you, Fatty Luo Tian. You have guts. You actually dare to snatch our girl. P.S. Recommend a book to a friend. Below is a direct train. Chapter 117. P.S. Thank you to 121104163225356 for your tip. The wonderful atmosphere with the beautiful women in his arms suddenly disappeared when the door of the private room was slammed open. Lin Fei and Luo Tian's cups stopped in midair. Obviously, they did not expect that when they were drunk, someone would barge in from the outside. From the looks of it, it seemed to be an acquaintance. This was a rather irritating matter. Luo Tian's face immediately fell. As the third young master of the brothers' gang, he could not be considered as a tyrant in Guiyuan City, but at least no one dared to provoke him. Just when he was in high spirits, he was interrupted. Luo Tian was like a lit firecracker, releasing his own prestige. "Get out!" Luo Tian stood up with a whoosh. His huge body was like a small mountain rising from the ground. It was quite majestic. The beautiful madam in front was so scared that her face turned pale. She never thought that such a thing would happen during the day. On one side was a family disciple, and on the other side was the third young master of the brothers' gang. No matter which side was offended, their fragrance house would not have a good future. In the future, they still needed to rely on them, so they must not be offended. Without waiting for the madam to open her mouth, someone else had already spoken. "Fatty Luo, did you drink too much? You dare to ask us to go out? Open your dog eyes and take a good look at who we are." The white-robed man standing in front opened the folding fan in his hand and used a condescending tone to look at Fatty Luo Tian disdainfully. His posture was not just an ordinary one. Indeed, Luo Tian had drunk too much. Today he was in a good mood, and with the addition of alcohol, it was unknown why he was so direct. He angrily scolded, "Li Qingfeng, you bastard! Don't think that just because you are from the Li family, this fat lord will be afraid of you. If you have the guts, come and try. The brothers' gang has never been afraid of anything." Lin Fei had been watching. After drinking a mouthful of strong liquor, he discovered that his friend's temper was quite fierce. He faintly exuded a murderous aura. Obviously, he was also a person who had killed before. After not coming back for 5 years, Lin Fei knew too few people. He couldn't even see the acquaintances in his memories. Instead, they were all people who came later, and their tone was unusually arrogant. Thinking about how the Lin family was no longer powerful, it seemed to be normal for such a situation to occur. It seemed normal for them to be arrogant. "Fatty, you don't have to pretend to be powerful anymore. It's not as good as it was in the past. Your brother's gang doesn't have the support of the Lin family. Look at you now. Who still thinks that you're the third young master of the brothers' gang? Sooner or later, our Black Bear gang will destroy your brother's gang." This time it wasn't Li Qingfeng who spoke, but rather another long-haired disciple. He wasn't a member of the Li family, but rather a young master of another gang. He could be considered an enemy of the Brotherhood gang, Jin Wuya. In Guiyuan City, there were many powers. Among them, there were also the existence of gangs. Gangs were attached to clans. Existences like the Extreme Dojo were extremely rare and could be considered as an unconventional existence. "Damn, Fatty, get out of the pavilion of fragrances. My family's young master doesn't want to see people like you. Take advantage of the fact that our young Master Jean hasn't gotten angry yet and quickly get out of here." The few followers behind coldly spoke. In their opinion, the brothers' gang's development wasn't as good as it was in the past. Their power hadn't increased, so there was nothing to worry about. On the contrary, their Black Bear gang's power was constantly expanding, gradually suppressing the brothers' gang. Sooner or later, the brothers' gang would be destroyed. Li Qingfeng was quite satisfied. Originally, he wanted to see who would dare to bite all the beautiful girls. He didn't expect it to be Fatty Luo from the brothers' gang. Coincidentally, the Li family was very dissatisfied with the brothers' gang. Previously, they wanted to recruit them to become a subsidiary force of the family. However, the leader of the brothers' gang had repeatedly refused. If the brothers' gang didn't agree, then he would humiliate them. Li Qingfeng's thinking was very simple. "Fatty, why do you care about them?" Just as Luo Tian's anger reached its limit, a hand reached out and pushed him back to his seat. It was Lin Fei who hadn't said a word. Even though Lin Fei had only wanted to settle old matters, when he heard those words, he was smart and immediately understood what was going on. It turned out that it was because of him that a series of things had happened, adding on the things that had happened in the depths of his memory. Fatty Luo's words were clearly because of the stupid things he had done in the past. Lin Fei felt that he had to do something. Jin Weia had always been Li Qingfeng's follower. Today he had invited Li Qingfeng over because there were a few more beautiful girls in the pavilion of fragrances. In the end, all the girls had been bought by someone else. Jin Weia immediately felt that he couldn't keep his face any longer. That was why the scene in front of him had appeared. "Brat, who allowed you to speak?" Jin Weia frowned. His gaze was like a knife as it landed on Lin Fei's body. "Get the hell out here. Is this a place for you to sit?" "You." Just as Fatty Luo was about to speak, he discovered that Lin Fei had actually moved. After the Black Bear Gang had curried favor with the Li family as the young master, Jin Weya's confidence grew by the day. In Gue Yuan City, other than the limited powers that he couldn't provoke, he didn't care about anything else. With the Li family as his backing, there was nothing to worry about. When he saw that this brat dared to butt in, he could use it to vent his anger. He believed that Fatty Luo wouldn't dare to do anything because he didn't have the guts. How could the third young master compete with the Li family? Cough, cough. Lin Fei's movement technique was like a ghost as he suddenly appeared in front of Jin Weia. His delicate palm reached out and grabbed Jin Weya's throat. No matter what, Jin Weia was at the 6th layer of the martial path. Before he could even react, he was unable to use his profound qi. What was even more unexpected was that the delicate young master raised his hand and sent a slap over. "You dare!" A sharp pain spread through Jin Weya's body. His face burned with pain, and a mouthful of blood flowed down from the corner of his mouth. Jin Weia was stunned. He, the dignified young master of the Black Bear Gang, had been hit by someone. "Just now, you said that you wanted to exterminate the Brothers Gang?" A cold voice filled with hostility swarmed over. Young Master Jin was like a little chick as he fell into Lin Fei's hands. He struggled with all his might, but the other party had grabbed his throat, making it hard for him to breathe. "Quickly let me go, or else the Brothers Gang won't be able to protect you." With the Li family's disciples here, Jin Weia had nothing to worry about. No matter who this guy was, even if the Brothers Gang's boss was here, he wouldn't care. The Li family was a big tree that the Brothers Gang wouldn't dare to offend even if they were beaten to death. Furthermore, the current situation was different. If the Brothers Gang had the foresight, they would definitely choose a new path instead of attacking. Unexpectedly, Jin Weia met Lin Fei. Pa. Chapter 118. P.S. Thanks to book friend 121104163225356 for the 100 Qijin coins tip. Lin Fei's movements were too fast, so fast that no one could react in time. By the time everyone reacted, the dignified Black Bear Gang's young master, Jin Weia, had been violently slapped. His face had turned into a pig's head. Blood flowed down from the corner of his mouth, making him look extremely miserable. By the time they came back to their senses, they were somewhat apprehensive. This was especially so for Jin Weya's followers. Seeing that their young master had been captured, they immediately hesitated and didn't dare to go forward. However, their murderous gazes if they could kill someone who knew how many times Lin Fei would have been killed. Right now, other than staring helplessly, there was nothing they could do. "If you dare to open your mouth again, I don't mind knocking out all your teeth." I think a toothless young master must be very interesting. The mocking voice was accompanied by an almost tangible, baleful aura. Jin Weia tactfully shut his mouth. Unable to use his Xian Qi, it was like a tiger losing its claws, no longer dangerous. "Sir, don't you think you've gone too far?" Li Qingfeng didn't expect that there would be someone in Gue Yuan City who would be so courageous to dare to beat up the young master of the Black Bear gang in front of him. Although their relationship wasn't very deep, the entire Gui City knew that the Black Bear gang was a subsidiary force of the Lee family. Who would dare to offend them? But today, there was someone who was extremely daring, beating up his little brother in front of him. He could not swallow this anger, especially the person in front of him. He was unfamiliar with him. It was obvious that he had just arrived. If it was someone else with a background in power, Li Qingfeng might have some apprehension. But now it was just an outdated brothers gang and an unfamiliar brat. If he did not let this anger out, it would be equivalent to attacking the Li family's reputation. Lin Fei single-handedly grabbed Jin Wuya's throat, as if he was holding a piece of wood. He did not give him any face. Who do you think you are? Why should I give you face? Back then, when I came out, you brat, you were still playing in the mud in some mountain ravine. This was too satisfying. When did Lin Fei become so daring? Luo Tian, who had been pressed down, seemed to have seen something inconceivable. He could not imagine that Lin Fei would be so violent, and it was as if the scene from back then had replayed itself. If it weren't for the fact that there were other people present, Luo Tian wouldn't mind letting out a long roar. The way he looked at Lin Fei was gradually filled with admiration. Li Qingfeng's face immediately fell. As one of the direct descendants of the Li clan, he was considered as the #1 figure in Gui City. Even the declining Lin family didn't dare to yell at him like this. "Kid, you've got guts." These words were spoken by Li Qingfeng while gnashing his teeth. If it was said that he only wanted to humiliate them before, but now his heart was filled with anger. No matter what, he would not let this unfamiliar brat off lightly. "I'm curious, who exactly are you? How dare you not put the Li family in your heart?" No one has ever dared to provoke the Li family in Gui City. The fact that Lin Fei dared to make a move meant that he had considered everything. Of course, part of it was because of Fatty Luo, but most of it was because of the current situation. Lin Fei shook his head. "Who I am is not important. Whether I have a background or not, it has nothing to do with me. What's important is that you have to apologize to us for what happened just now." Li Qingfeng smiled. Even Jin Wuya, who was caught, squeezed out a smile. In Gui City, the number of people who dared to make the Li family apologize could be counted with one's fingers. This kid must have eaten the guts of a leopard and was tired of living. Things had already reached this point. Luo Tian didn't dare to open his mouth. The angry Lin Fei made him feel a sense of danger. "You want me to apologize?" Li Qingfeng laughed coldly. He looked at Lin Fei as if he was looking at a fool. "This is the funniest joke I've ever heard in my life. You dare to ask a member of the Li clan to apologize? Brat, you're too inexperienced." Lin Fei's mouth curved into a smile. "That's not necessarily true." Pum! Jin Wuya instantly felt himself being flung out. His vision blurred, and it was as though a human silhouette had disappeared without a trace. Following which, the sound of someone kneeling could be heard. At the entrance, the few people who were originally there were now lying on the ground. Li Qingfeng, who was the person involved, was kneeling on the ground. Cracks spread out like a spider web. These cracks were caused by the strong impact. And this scene happened in an instant. The madam was so scared that she sat paralyzed on the ground. This wasn't an ordinary loss of composure. No matter what, she couldn't imagine such an unforeseen event. Today, a direct descendant of the Li family was kneeling in front of Fragrance House. Lin Fei stood there casually, with one hand grabbing Li Qingfeng's head. How could Li Qingfeng block Lin Fei, who had godly strength? If it was in another place, this claw would have crushed his head in front of everyone. There was no need to doubt if Lin Fei had the ability to do so. "Can you apologize now?" Li Qingfeng knelt on the ground. The pain from his knees clearly reminded him that he had actually knelt in front of an unfamiliar brat. "Brat, you're dead meat." Li Qingfeng gritted his teeth and glared at Lin Fei with hatred, as if he was looking at his father's murder. At the same time, Jin Wuya climbed up in a sorry state. When he saw the Li family's disciple kneeling on the ground, he was immediately scared out of his wits. "Fatty Luo, hurry up and tell your friend to stop." Lin Fei shook his head again. "Is it so hard to apologize? It seems like the Li family only has this much ability. I'm really disappointed." Little did he know that kneeling down to apologize was a huge humiliation. If Li Qingfeng really apologized, even if he returned to the Li family, he wouldn't be able to raise his head in the future. Unless his strength continued to improve by leaps and bounds, there would be no hope of changing the situation. Li Qingfeng would never agree to an apology. Right now, the only thing Li Qingfeng wanted to do was to chop this brat into pieces to vent his anger, no matter what background this brat came from. Apologize? Don't even think about it. You'd better let me go now. Once the people from the Li family arrive, I can guarantee that you'll be in a very, very miserable state. Lin Fei exerted force in his hand, and Li Qingfeng instantly felt as if Mount Tai was pressing down on him. The floorboards on the ground cracked once more, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard from Li Qingfeng's body. Li Qingfeng's body contorted continuously, and his face contorted in extreme pain. "Can you apologize now?" Lin Fei's indifferent voice rang out in the private room again. However, to Li Qingfeng, this voice was no less than the voice of the devil. Fortunately, at this moment, another voice rang out.